this is not what we do. We root for each other to fail.
Is that not why I'm on the show in the first place? Like, it's the different perspective. Like, I'm not going to fake it. I know you guys hate this. I know the AWLs are going to come after me and be like, you're such a loser, casual, fake fan.
Don't
like,
listen to him, Jake.
This is who I am.
Shut up,
I'm
Hank.
sorry. I'm sorry.
On today's Pardon My Take, we have our good friend Mark Titus on the show in studio. We also have Succession preview and recap all into one, getting ready for Succession series finale on Sunday night. We're going to talk Celtics. Precap Celtics get to 3-2 in the series. They are still alive. They dominate the Heat. Talk a little hockey, Fyre Fest. Great show for you to send you into the long weekend, and it's brought to you by our friend, Bert Kreischer, because Bert Kreischer has a new movie out. It's called The Machine. This month, Sony's giving us a new must-see movie to kick off summer, starring Bert himself, based on the outrageous, truish story of Bert Kreischer that blew up the internet. The movie picks up 23 years after the iconic story from Bert's signature set, his true experience with Russian mobsters while on a booze-soaked college trip. That trip from college has come back to haunt Bert as his estranged father, played by Mark Hamill, are kidnapped back to Russia by the mob to atone for something they say he did. Together, Bert and his father must retrace the steps of his younger self, played by our good friend Jimmy Tatro, who was on the show on Wednesday, in the midst of a war within a sociopathic crime family, all while attempting to find common ground in their often fraught relationship. Bert Kreischer is the man, the myth, the machine. Support our friends. Bert, Jimmy, both of our friends. Go watch the movie. It's going to be a great movie, action-packed. Nothing better than a good summer comedy movie. Go to the movie theater, watch it. Get your tickets now. The Machine is now playing rated R. Get your tickets now. This weekend, The Machine, now playing rated R. Go support our friends. Go see The Machine in theaters. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take. Today is Friday, May 26th. And the Boston Celtics are back alive. PFT, you are sitting next to Hank right now. The smile on his face.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Hank just touched me.
Yeah. So PFT, we will talk to Hank because he now gets to golf in the month of June. Everything. Anytime you think Hank is down, he bounces back. He wins. He stays silent when he loses. Then he comes back and just fucking yells in our face when he wins. PFT, let's start, though, you and I. Are you now very nervous because you have the bet for the Heat to win this series and you bet them up 3-0?
Yeah. It was a plus expected value on the bet, by the way. I had some smart guys sit down after the fact, crunch the numbers for me. I was getting 10% return on investment. It should have been about 5% given the history of the NBA and 3-0 leads. So it was a sharp bet. I don't regret anything. I'm a process guy, not a results guy. The process was right. I make that bet 10 times out of 10 in the future. But now I've shifted my paradigm, Big Cat. And you're a good friend. I'm a good friend. My good friend Hank, I would gladly pay $10,000 for Hank to be allowed to golf with me in the month of June. I want those friendship moments. Mm-hmm. I want Hank to be happy. Hank and I are going to be stuck here in Chicago on our island for the next month, and we're going to be bonding. And what better place for the fellas to bond than on a golf course? So if it's $10,000 cost to be friends with Hank for the month of June, well then I guess he's a prostitute. He's a friend prostitute for me that I'm paying $10,000 to spend time with this month. So I'm happy he's going to be able to do that. It is tough being in the same room as him though. When he's experiencing satisfaction and enjoyment.
Yeah.
And I mean, credit to Hank because it's tough being a Boston sports fan. For about a week, it looked like his team might lose in the playoffs. And that's hard. That's hard, man. You got to battle through some shit, Hank. So, you've seen your adversity. You might be coming out the other side. I agree with Jake that game 6 is game 7. Tonight was it was game 6, even though it was game 5 tonight. The Celtics won their game 6, game 5, and now it's up to the Heat to win their game 7, game 6.
And the Celtics killed them from the jump. It was an electric crowd. They were hitting everything. It felt like there was even a little bit of a moment where the Heat oh, maybe they'll come back. No, not to be. I don't think Jimmy Butler played in the fourth quarter. It felt like everything was going in for the Celtics. Felt like they were at their level. I think there's a stat out there that when they hit over 40% from 3, they're basically an unbeatable team. They did that again tonight, and you had everyone, Marcus Smart had 23, Derek White had 24. Everyone was chipping in. It wasn't just Jason Tatum had to take over the whole game. 4 out of their 5 starters were in 20-plus points. I tweeted during the game that I was happy that Hank gets to golf. And then as soon as we pulled up this Riverside to record and I saw his face, his smile, it broke me because the guy, he just, he skirts away from the losses and he gets to relish in the wins. And here we are. And Hank is all the way back. And I still think it's probably a coin flip, but you can't deny the fact that the Celtics, it feels like momentum has shifted all the way back. And now it's a 2-game series. And if the Heat don't win in game 6, it is big, big, big trouble.
Yeah,
Hank?
I mean, I'm happy. I'm very happy for Hank, the person. I'm honestly sad, though, for the listeners of the show.
Yeah.
Because while Hank's going to get to enjoy himself, it does mean that the recording quality is going to suffer. The audio quality might suffer.
Yes.
Hank's going to be working, maybe 2 or 3 days this entire month because he's going to be on the course the whole time. So just bear with us. AWLs, we love you. And I hope that you can stand to listen to this podcast, even though the quality is going to be absolute shit, with Hank just being not focused at all on his job.
Verbal meme, Hank in his work-life balance, and it's just the picture of the future. That meme, what the world would be like if Hank was work. It would just be a wonderful world where we'd probably have the greatest guests. We'd probably get Kevin Durant on the show if Hank had to do work
For sure.
in June.
I mean, between his busy golf schedule and also making the trip to Miami to get his suit out of the ceiling that he left down there, I don't think Hank's going to be in the office at all. So, but seriously though, Hank, congratulations! I'm very happy for you, piece of shit.
Yeah. So listen, go ahead, Hank.
I appreciate the kind words. I will say that it's really not about me. It's not about golf. That's a side story. That's a side quest. This is all about the team. This is about the Boston Celtics. The job's not finished. If the Celtics lose this series, I'm not going to be happy on the golf course. I'm going to be sad. We need to win this series. Yeah,
You're going to be sad on the golf course.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm a team player. I've entirely been focused only on winning the series. I honestly forgot the golf thing was even a factor. But I will say it was nice having perspective. My golf game was kind of in a coma on life support for the last 2 weeks. And
you could have golfed these last 2 weeks.
No, I know, but it was am I ever going to see this person again? He's on life support. He's a vegetable. He might not wake up.
Well, I did beat you. Yeah, you're right.
And it's nice. Don't spoil the video.
Oh, okay.
And it's nice.
I beat Hank.
You didn't, but video.
I did.
It's nice. It's just nice that all of a sudden, whatever the little beeps start going, you see some lines pop up, and it's like, oh my god, he's alive, and he's going to be walking out of the hospital tomorrow. This is great. And yeah, Game 6 is Game 7. I do agree with Big Cat. I think it's a coin flip. I think Jaylen Brown, as much as everyone else played well, Jaylen Brown still kind of played a little weird. They still miss some free throws. They miss free throws all series. That has been in my head the entire series where they just miss free throws. And that, when in a close game, that matters a lot more. Turnovers, Game 6 is definitely a toss-up, but if you win Game 6, Game 7 at home is ours.
There were a ton of turnovers tonight from the Heat. I think they had 16, 17, 18 turnovers, something like that. The second chance points were so lopsided tonight. And credit to Al Horford, by the way. Al Horford, he didn't have a great offensive game. He made a couple shots, but he's gone through these lapses where he forgets that the basket exists. He made a couple shots, but on the boards, he was sticking his big ass out there, getting tip outs, hustling. He was a dog on the court tonight. So Big Al kind of owned the paint for a little bit. His presence was felt, and the Celtics got a shitload of second chances and capitalized on them. So the Celtics, they were just they played harder.
149 teams that have been up 4-0. are up 3-0. Only 11 have even got into Game 6.
150. But yeah.
Sure?
This is
because the Nuggets and Lakers did happen.
Right.
Right. That happened a couple days ago. Hank, what do you think about Joe Mazzulla's pregame routine today? The report that he went to the hospital, he met with cancer patients, and the direct quote from him was,
I mean, one of those probably saw my golf game in there.
okay. He said watching a girl dying and smiling and enjoying her life, that's what it's really all about. So he gained some perspective. It's kind of some psycho shit, but I guess it's nice that he went to the hospital, tried to make people happy, cheer them up a little bit. But it's Gary Vee adjacent is what he's doing. He's just he's trying to force himself to work harder by looking at people who are dying and be like, well, I need to do it for them.
It's a cool move, but it also feels like it might have been a move where if they had lost this game tonight, he could get up and be like, you know where I was earlier today? I was at a hospital seeing cancer patients.
Yeah.
This is just a game. Maybe a little old Coach K move where it's like the game doesn't really matter. It's life.
Can I get a Celtics team chemistry update from you?
Yeah, they seem to be a little bit better. Listen, you're gonna. I can't get.
I'm just curious.
No, I know. I mean, you skirted the question basically every time I asked it. So it's funny that you bring it up when you win a couple games.
That's false.
That's not false.
You like Kevin O'Connor sent that Kevin O'Connor tweet. I was like, there's no way that is like that accurate. That was my exact response.
You actually didn't respond to when I sent it in the text message. Can everyone back me up? Hank just didn't respond to the text message.
I mentally responded, and then I responded in person on stream.
So I rest my case that you
we
didn't
talked
respond.
about it on stream. There's a live stream. I'll get the clip. I'll send it to you.
Okay, great. But the other times on the podcast, you didn't respond when I brought it up. Because when you lose, you don't talk.
Again, this is where it's like if you're in Big Cat's world and you can't lose apparently, and you can't win.
Well,
I don't really know.
No, when you lose, you get mad.
But you have to be able to contribute to the show after.
I have talked every single loss. I lost, and then I started talking in the game. And you're like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Remember that?
No, I don't. And
after the Sixers game, when I was quiet,
you were faking it. Yeah, you were faking it. You're like,
again, that's just a lot. Like it's like I can't exist.
No,
apparently.
When you lose, get mad. You just go silent. I mean, listen, it's fine. You guys are back.
Subjective. There's no like right or wrong. It's a subjective art.
You feel what you feel, and Hank, feelings are never wrong. But when you feel bad, you act like a shithead, and when you feel good, you act like a bigger shithead. Yes, that's what we're saying.
PFT. The start of Monday's show was painful trying to get something out of you. I'm happy you're back. I want to see you fight. And you're fighting.
I'm not gonna take your guys' jealous comments personally. It's okay.
You know what you do, Hank? This is what happens when you lose. We needle you, and then you won't respond to it. So you force us to get progressively meaner and meaner and meaner to you just to elicit a reaction, and then you still don't react. And then when you win, you take all the mean stuff that we said out on us after a win, but we only did that because you forced.
That's facts.
You're making us hit you right now, Hank.
That's facts.
I don't want to do this, babe.
That's
PFT summed that up so perfectly. All my feelings. Thank you, PFT. Max is clapping right now. That was perfect. All right.
Also, Hank did an insult Photoshop of Max that he put out online where he just Photoshopped Max's face onto everybody.
No shot did he make that. 0% chance he made that.
I commissioned it.
No, I was standing behind Hank when he had Photoshop.
You commissioned the hit? You sent out your best guys. Yeah. All right. We should get Jake's perspective because now this guy's going to be positive after 2 losses, but I want to hear it.
And the thing is, I know Jake's happy for me. No matter what he says, I know he's secretly is like,
he is.
Thanks.
I think I want the Heat to win this series more than Jake wants the Heat to win this series.
He's got the P's already in the Stanley Cup.
All right. So I can be both equally happy for Hank that he
Thank you, Jake.
can still golf, but I'm also very upset that the Heat might blow this. Like,
did you say equally?
No.
I can be happy.
Walk over you. No.
I'm not letting him walk over me.
Yes, you are. You can't be happy for him. You're in a fight. You're in a fight for your life, Jake.
Here's the thing. I love golf at the level that Hank does. So putting myself in his shoes, that's where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. Like Big Cat, imagine if you're banned from betting on sports for a month.
I wouldn't make that bet.
Exactly. But imagine if
exactly. I wouldn't make that bet.
But it's your team. But it's your team.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't
I'm not
matter.
a diehard like you. I don't scream after every basket. Like, I'm just calling it how it is. I'm not going to fake it for just because we're deep in the playoffs just to drum up a narrative. Like, yes, I want them to win. Will I lose?
He's walking over
if they
you.
lose? No.
Yeah, Jake just called you a simp.
No, I'm saying Hank's walking over Jake now because Jake is rooting for Hank, and Hank is just sitting there collecting all the wins.
Well, Hank is collecting the wins meanwhile, but what Jake just did to Max is honestly very, very mean. Even though he's trying to be polite, he's like, "Listen, I don't really care that much when my teams win or lose, and you are a freak about your teams despite the fact
No,
that
he
they
wasn't
always
wrong.
lose."
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, that's it. Like, am I ecstatic that the Panthers, shout out the Peas, they're in the Stanley Cup final? I'm really happy. Like, that's awesome. Like, I know a lot of diehards down there. Am I one of them? No. Am I going to act like I'm one of them? No. So, like, why would I fake it? You know, this is the honest truth.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
but with the Heat, I think it's fair, Jake, to say that with the Heat, you should want the Heat to win way, way more than you want Hank to be able to play golf.
No, but there's one thing you're not thinking about too, like Jake Marsh, consummate professional, Big J. If you're a Big J, you love a storyline. 150 series, 3-0, and to finally be able to win one, like that's a great storyline.
This is what he's doing to you, Jake. You have to know what he's thinking. He's just smiling year to year. He's collecting all the wins. He's got all the fucking Pokemon.
No, if the Heat lose this series, being on the bad side of history is embarrassing. Like, this is the only outcome where I would legitimately have a pit in my stomach for a long time if they blew this. Like, if they lost, if it was 2-2 and they lost whatever 3-3, but like this, you can't have history.
I mean, being a Yankees fan, being a Yankees and Heat fan. I wasn't rooting for him for golf. I was rooting for the Heat tonight, but I'm just looking at the positives. Like, the Heat lost, but my friend gets to have what he wants. Like,
and we can play together. Yeah, we can go play together, Jake. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great June.
This is not what we do. We root for each other to fail.
Is that not why I'm on the show in the first place? Like, it's the different perspective. Like, I'm not going to fake it. I know you guys hate this. I know the AWLs are going to come after me and be like, you're such a loser, casual, fake fan.
Don't
like,
listen to him, Jake.
This is who I am.
Shut up,
I'm
Hank.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Jake, we're not mad at you. What we're really mad at is the fact that if we were in your position, we would want to kill Hank, and we're just.
Yeah, I root for, like, that's male friendship. Rooting for your friends to have their sports team fail. Like, that really is the epitome. Like, if you can't win it, you don't want your friends to win it. That's bullshit.
Right. Yes. And again, like, I'm not rooting for the Celtics to win this series by any means. But since the Celtics won tonight, how do I spin zone that? All right, Hank doesn't have to give up golf.
But Jake, you know that for the remainder of our time on this fleeting earth, that Hank will always remind you that the Red Sox came back against your Yankees down 3-0, and that his Celtics came back against your Heat 3-0. That will be something that Hank will have in his back pocket, which he will use in order to make your life worse moving forward. You have to be proactively defensive about that because you don't want Hank to pull that out and stab you in the back when you least expect it, which he will.
I will say we're having fun. We're having some laughs. We're getting a little loosey goosey. But Game 6 is 100% a toss up. Game 6 is a 50-50. I could see it going either way. I could see, the Celtics losing in horrific fashion or whatever. So the series is far from over. Game 6 is a toss up.
I mean, Jimmy Butler sitting for the fourth quarter, that's felt like load management because they're just going to try to unload the clip in Game 6. But I do think that the Celtics,
maybe Gabe Vincent was the X factor. Is Gabe Vincent out, Jake, or is he going to be back?
I think he should be back for Game 6, but this just came across the Twitter timeline. Just reporting, Jimmy Butler at the podium. We can and we will win this series.
Okay, so that to me is scared. That to me is the Celtics are going to win this series.
My first moment when I was talking the other night, when I was like I had to get myself ramped up, was when Jimmy Butler posted the pointing picture at Grant Williams. It's like that's not something you post when the series is still going.
No, he posts after every game. He just got Al Horford timeout. Like, that's just his thing. He posts after losses too.
But still.
I saw that and was like, this this is going to come back.
Hank, I think the Celtics, like, I truly do. I know people are like, well, the Heat only have to win one, the Celtics have to win two. It's 50-50, and it might even be leaning towards the Celtics because they played, like, that was the game that they were looking for a while now, where it's like, yeah, we just made this not even a doubt. And it goes back to game 4, second half, where they had the same thing. So it's pretty much 6 quarters now where they've played lights out. And it's not like they're an underdog trying to come back down 3-0. They were favored in this series. They were favored. They have home court. They were favored. Like, yeah, Hanks, the guy fucking wins. He's a winner.
He's getting me sick right now too. We were trying to do hedge math tonight while we were watching this game.
Oh, this was tough.
And you might as well have to be in Goodwill Hunting to be able to figure out hedge math because it's algebra, it's complicated. I'm not very smart. I chose to be an English major in college because I didn't have to take more than one math class the entire time. So we're trying to figure out hedge math. And for a while I was like, why don't I just bet $10,000 on the Celtics? And then that way, you know, like they're probably going to be plus 150, plus 175 to win the series. I was like, no. I guarantee myself winning at least $11,000. Then I was like, wait a second. No, I guarantee myself losing $9,000 if that happens. It's tough to figure that out. But for about 2 minutes, Hank and I both thought that we figured out a way to break the system.
No, I didn't know what it was, but PFT was like, it's a guaranteed winner. And I said, something doesn't add up there because whenever you say that, it's never true.
No,
and then 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, no, that would be a potential $8,000 loss.
And the Celtics are definitely favored in the series now.
No,
right?
Heat minus 155, Celtics plus 110 on the Barstool Sports.
Okay, so yeah, you can't.
And Celtics minus 3, game 6 on the road.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, we haven't brought this up yet. This is Blake Griffin's first appearance in the conference finals throughout his entire career. He's not going to lose his first conference finals.
That's a good point.
Also,
PFT.
Yeah, also Blake Griffin and Kevin Love, the last 2 players to be featured on the NCAA basketball game. How about that? Ooh. They're playing against each other. How wild is that, Jake?
I think I have that game. Oh,
I love that.
How about this? How wild is that?
There we go.
You have it on you.
Yeah.
That's sick. I used to play simulate March Madness tournaments all the time.
Jake, I'm disgusted with you. I don't want to hear you talk. All right. Well, congrats, Hank. At least here. I'll say it. Here's a spin zone. I did want to have something to watch on Saturday night. So we have a game Saturday night, Succession finale Sunday night, and then potentially Monday night at Game 7. So, as a sports fan, I'm happy that I get to watch more basketball because it would have been a bummer to have that type of break.
And as a family man, Big Cat, you can take some solace in this.
I don't like
next week. I had planned to be playing golf with my grandfather, and then this week he texted me.
My grandparents are dead.
He was like, "Hey, what is this? What is this? I'm hearing that you're not going to be able to play golf with me next week." And I was like, I didn't even have the heart to tell him what was going on. I just waited until tonight. So that's
sick flex. You have grandparents alive.
Yeah, really. Some of us don't have any and haven't had any for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but cool. I bet if you did, you'd want to play golf with them.
No, if my grandfather was alive and he said, "Hey, PFT, do you want to go play golf? There's no elevators at this course," I would say, you know what? Yeah, I would love to. In fact, I want to so very deeply that I'm willing to shave my facial hair into a soul patch in order to play golf with you, grandfather. Wow. But Hank, in his mind, wouldn't even shave his facial hair into a soul patch to play golf with his grandfather who's still alive.
And then go to a family wedding right after, which would have been embarrassing.
Jake, I'm sorry I got mad at you. I'm sorry I got mad at you, Jake.
I'm sorry for my
I'm sorry I got mad at you. I'm sorry I got mad at you. I shouldn't get mad at you.
Okay. All right, I forgive you.
Yeah, it's everything PFT summed up.
I don't care.
No, it's everything PFT summed up perfectly about the.
He makes us do that to him.
Yeah, right.
And then he gets mad at us.
The way he acts makes it. And the smile right now is exactly.
Fault.
Yeah,
it's your
if you're
fault.
watching on the YouTube, you know it is his fault. All right, we got a couple more things we want to talk about. I'm going to do an ad real quick.
Okay.
And then we got a couple more things we want to talk about. Him and hers, spring is here, and with that warm weather, it's time you deserve to look and feel your best all the time, thanks to our friends at Hims. Men now have simpler, more affordable access to the prescriptions, products, and medical advice they need. With Hims, you can access personalized treatments that suit your needs with a process that is 100% online with no copay, no insurance required. Say goodbye to awkward in-person appointments and video visits. Struggling with ED? Know that you're not alone. Hims' new hard mints are minty chewables, customized to fit your unique needs. The mints can be compounded with the same active ingredients found in Viagra and Cialis at different dosages, and they're only available through Hims at 4hims.com/PMT. You can access licensed medical providers and trusted treatments for ED 100% online. If prescribed, Hims will ship to you for free in discreet packaging. It's that simple. Look for your source for sports, news, and entertainment, right? Well, Hims is the place to access personalized treatment options like hard mints. So freshen up your ED medication. Go to 4hims.com/PMT to get started today. That's 4hims.com/PMT. Only available if prescribed. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information. Restrictions apply. Hard mints is a chewable compounded drug. The FDA does not approve compounded drugs, nor does it verify their safety or effectiveness. Go right now to 4hims.com/PMT to get started today. That's 4hims.com/PMT to get started today. Okay, what were you going to say, PFT? Sorry, before that ad. Did you have something else in the game?
There was some big news that came up today in the NBA. It didn't have anything to do with this game, but it just came out today. Shams announced LeBron James was actually injured in the playoffs. He had a pretty much destroyed foot. He was playing on an injury that would have killed even the mightiest Spartan warriors. He had a tendon injury in his foot, which, I mean, I can't believe that he was able to walk on that thing, much less play in the Western Conference Finals, which is incredible. I don't think anybody out there saw this news breaking today. We definitely didn't say on the last show that news like this was about to come out about LeBron James. But I just want to say salute to a warrior. That's hockey tough. I'd like to see an NHL player do what LeBron James did in this playoffs. So credit to LeBron for doing it and not saying a word about it. In fact, he's probably embarrassed that the news came out.
This is the same injury that he told the media a few months ago that he's probably going to need surgery in the offseason, but he's not going to tell anyone when he gets surgery, even though he definitely will tell everyone when he gets surgery. But, yeah, thoughts and prayers to LeBron. Hope he's okay. God damn it, Hank. You just win all the time. Okay, other stories. The Panthers are in the Stanley Cup final. The Stars are still alive. The Stars just won in overtime against the Knights. Rob Brendamore, the coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, took a page out of our good friend Max, his playbook, with probably the biggest loser talk I've ever heard. So if you missed it, the Hurricanes got swept, and Rob Brendamore afterwards said, that's the unfortunate part of this is we're going to look back and everyone's going to say you got swept, and that's not what happened. I watched the game. I'm there. We're in the game. We didn't lose 4 games. We got beat, but we were right there. This could have went the other way. It could have been 4 games the other way. Tonight, the way it ended is tough. Getting a penalty like that, that's tough, especially with what was let go. That's going to sting, not to take anything away from the other team because they played hard. So they did lose with 5 seconds left, which was it was a thrilling game. But to come out afterwards and say, the history books will show we got swept, but that's not what happened. That's quite a quote.
Yeah, they didn't lose every game. They just didn't win. And that's what their problem was.
They were close.
They didn't get no wins. They got 0 wins in this series. What they should do is just be like, hey, the Panthers have beaten some really good teams this year in the playoffs. They're just, if you're the Hurricanes, you're rooting for the Panthers to win in the Stanley Cup Finals, right? That way you can even feel better about the 0 wins that you got in the Eastern Conference Finals, because you're like, well, they're just the best team in hockey. Any other team in the league we would have beaten.
Yeah, they need to hang a banner that just says Eastern Conference Finals definitely didn't get swept, even though it says we got swept.
Almost tied Game 4 in a 4-0 series sweep.
Yeah.
Put the banner up.
Played a lot of overtimes. Series was close. The history books will show it as a sweep, but we all know they didn't actually get swept. They lost 4-0, but it wasn't a sweep because they didn't lose those 4 games. They could have won them.
They just didn't win them.
Yeah. I mean, look, Maybe we need to be more like Rob Brindamore going forward. The Bears didn't lose the Super Bowl. They just didn't win it. They were close.
Yeah. Jake is like Rob Brindamore, though. Like that's such a healthy mentality to have. Yeah, if you're talking perspective, but nobody with any sort of healthy perspective should have a place in professional sports. This is a domain of psychopaths.
No,
it is one of the
you got what you got. Like their numbers never lie. Like, they lost 4-0. That's a sweep. Max got 0 hits. That's a no hitter.
But it wasn't because they didn't lose all 4 games. They just were very close. It's one of those moments that when they ask for the press, when they do the press conference right after, it's emotional. You say things you probably regret. I guarantee you Rob Brindamore woke up the next day and was like, fuck, did I really just say that we didn't lose 4-0 and that we were close in all those games? Because it is on the surface they were close. But on the surface, that's the definition of loser talk.
It's also Brindamore. He's got to be a French guy. That's very French line of thinking. That's like France wearing T-shirts that say back-to-back World War champions. Yeah, technically, I guess you could make that case, but in reality, that's not what really happened.
Yeah, tough. The Hurricanes were close. They did. I think their goal differential was only.
Every goal was a 1-goal game.
Every game was a 1-goal game, so they were four goal differential. But yeah, to say we didn't lose, we didn't get swept. That's not what happened. We didn't lose 4 games. That actually is, in fact, what happened. It's exactly what happened. They lost 4-0, and the Panthers are now in the Stanley Cup final. Brooks Koepka, our guy, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep the schedule up. I don't know if you guys saw, but for the live event, he wasn't there today because of flight issues. Which is hilarious because we all watched him the last 3 days. Just have the greatest 3 days, in the history of greatest 4 days in the history of sports. I don't think you can live better than what Brooks did this week, where he just went and he told us the schedule on Sunday night. He's like, yeah, I got the P's, then I got the Heat, then I got the P's again. Mm-hmm. He got to see his team that he has season tickets for go to the Stanley Cup 3 days after he won the PGA Championship.
Yeah, no, but he had plane trouble. That's why he was late getting to the live event. He did show up after the press conference, which is awesome that he decided that he just wasn't going to talk to the media because who knows what was going through his brain at that point. Probably not in the best mental mindset. But no, it was plane issue. You've seen all the delays that have been happening across America for the last year. Mayor Pete has grounded flights 75% of all the weekends. He was probably flying Southwest, trying to save a little bit of money because you don't get rich by spending money on private jets, Big Cat. So he was probably flying on a discount carrier, which was grounded, and then he was late getting to the event. But when he got there, there was a nice reception that they had. Hank, will you please stop coughing? Hank's going to get me sick.
Well, he didn't sleep for fucking the entire week. He pulled a Brooks Koepka.
I mean, you've been coughing the entire show.
I'm trying not to. Shut the fuck up. I'm literally sitting here trying not to cough. You're like, can you not cough? As I'm literally eating coughs.
I'm going to get sick.
PFT, this is the problem. When Hank loses and he doesn't speak, then we get to this point where he coughs in our face, and then we're like, shut up with the coughs.
Now you're getting on my wavelength.
Wait till you agree with everything I said. All right, so other thing we should talk about, Michael Block. We got to have a discussion about this story. So, feel good story, fun story. He has then got an exemption in a bunch of events. He's playing right now in the Charles Schwab. He also had a clip where he said if he had Rory McIlroy's distance, so off the tee box, he would be one of the best players in the world because he's a world-class pitch, wedge, everything, round the greens. He then came out and he is 120th out of 120 participants, and I think the Charles Schwab. I know that it was a nice story, but he has done everything, and I know it's partially the media's fault for building up, ourselves included. But yeah, that clip where he was like, "Yeah, if I had Rory's length, it'd be insane how good I am." What are we talking about here? And then goes and shoots a +10, 120 out of 120.
Yeah, it's also. It is a little bit relatable because I always say if I had Billy's size, I would be in the NFL right now. And that's one of the things that you can say if you're for whatever reason, you don't make it in professional sports. Just take somebody that's bigger than you. Be like, man, if I was Joel Embiid's height, I would win the NBA championship every single year because I got that dog in me. You can pretend, you can cosplay as being a great athlete. He's just doing exactly what I think a lot of people do in other sports, but the difference is he's supposed to be better than that. He's supposed to be better than us because he is a PGA Club pro and he has competed against these guys. And yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt if he was driving the ball 325 yards, 330 yards. He'd probably be better than he is right now. But you have to understand the situation that you found yourself in, where there's nothing that the media loves more is tearing a guy down, especially one that they've built up themselves. So you just got to be boring, and just stick to crying. If he had just cried,
he cried
nonstop for 5 days. Yeah, I know he's addicted to crying. If he had just done nothing but cry during the interview, then we would have been like, "Oh my God, I love this guy. I love how humble he is." You can say whatever you want as long as you're crying while you say it, and the media will eat it up. But yeah, he put his foot in his mouth a little bit on that one, and I think now the golf purists, he's lost the golf purists, and when you lose them, then who else really is there that pays attention to the events that aren't any of the majors?
And it is, again, I take blame in this. Anyone who's in the media should take blame in this because, like, the way we talked about the story and how much everyone was, like, hounding to the story, and he did a bunch of interviews, which if I were in his shoes, I'd do all those interviews too. I think he signed with a talent agency, like, all moves that anyone in his shoes would do. But then you know what the reaction is going to be when you come out and are dead last and also say, if you had Rory's distance, you would be a world-class player. That one, I bet you he wishes he had back. I think he might have even taken it back because it's like, yeah, Rory McIlroy. You know why Rory McIlroy has that? Is because he's a freak athlete and he's worked insanely hard at his craft. It didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah, the Live Tour might come calling for Block.
He should take it.
If they do, then he should absolutely 100% take that money.
I think that's where the disconnect is too. Like if he had just been like after the PGA being like, dude, this rules and I'm going to milk this as hard as I possibly can and try to make as much money for my family as I can. I think then everyone would have been like, cool, yeah, that's what you should do. But it's the combo of like straddling the fence of being like an aw shucks guy while also milking it for everything. Cause I don't blame him for doing any of the interviews, any of like the promo, any advertising that he's done. Like I don't blame him for it. If you have a chance to make the money, go make the money. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, see, so the difference is if any of us say, like, if we have Rory McIlroy's distance, we would be one of the best golf players in the world. That's to be expected from people like us. When he says it, he should know better because he's actually good enough to know that he's not that good at golf.
Right. And what it takes, to get there. Okay, anything else? We have, so the schedule next week, Tuesday show, Friday show. Tuesday we have Michael Malone from the Nuggets, so get excited for that. Awesome interview. We already did it. He's the absolute man. Anything else, though, before we kick it to Mark Titus? And we also have a Succession preview of the series finale coming up as well. If you have not watched or if you're behind, we tell you exactly where in the show the spoilers start. So we're not trying to do a Sopranos thing. We're very clear about it. We'll put in the timestamps. Anything else, though, before we kick it to a long weekend and back to ourselves in studio with Titus?
Everybody be safe out there Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the name Matt Kachuk deserves to be said on this show. I know we talked Panthers, but that trade was insane, and that game winner, he's literally putting the team on his back. Stud.
I can't believe you rooted for Hank to golf.
I did not root for him to golf.
See,
and I appreciate it. I really do. I really do, Jake. I was like, I couldn't get mad at you because I knew that you were rooting for me to win as much as I was rooting for me to win.
Jake, but you realize that if you had swept Hank, the reaction that he would have would be 100% different from what he's doing right now. You're smart enough to understand that, right?
I know that, yes. But you guys are just twisting it. I was not rooting for the Celtics to win. Be like, yes, I want Hank to golf. Afterwards, I spun it.
Hank's taking advantage of you right now. And I don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said that. Okay, let's kick it to ourselves in studio with Mark Titus, Succession, and Fyre Fest coming, and everyone have a good long weekend.
Before we get to Mark Titus, he's brought to you by our great friends over at Chevy. You know we're truck guys, through and through, up and down, We love trucks. Chevy Silverado has been a partner with unstoppable grit and determination. It's been our most valuable truck, our MVT. Shout out to Chevy, sponsoring this podcast for, it feels like, 2 years now, 3 years?
Yeah,
they
they're our
sponsor
guys.
the Low Man Trophy. They are the official truck of Pardon My Take, the official truck of fullbacks, the official truck of grit. And now they have the first ever all-electric Silverado that's joining the franchise. We saw this thing up close and personal at the Super Bowl. It is a hoss. It is a unit. The all-new electric Silverado is awesome. It's a great truck. You're going to love it. It's a game changer. It's got an available 400-mile range. It's GM estimated on a full charge. 400 miles out of that puppy. Over 10 feet of length in the bed. It's got the multi-flex tailgate combined with the multi-flex midgate. It's the best truck in the world. 17-inch diagonal display screen. It can tow up to 10,000 pounds of max towing. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds with wow mode. You know when I'm pushing my Silverado, I'm always in wow mode. I live life in wow mode. Up to an impressive 785 foot-pounds of torque. This thing's got power. Head over to Chevy.com. Learn more. Go to Chevy.com. Learn more. Go to the dealership. Tell them PMT sent you. Yeah. They'll give you a cup of coffee on your way out the door. Go down to your Chevy dealership. Take it for a test drive. Put it in wow mode for yourself. See what you think. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds. That's awesome. You know what? I might see if I can't get a Chevy Silverado for my full-time truck once I get to Chicago. Excited about that. Excited about having a truck. We're truck guys. Go to Chevy.com. Learn more today. And now, here's Mark Titus.
Okay, we now welcome on the show one of our favorite recurring guests. We actually had the conversation, maybe it was yesterday. Days blend together. Who has been on the show the most? You might be up there, Mark Titus.
I feel like I got to be in the top 10 at least.
You're definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10 at least. Who'd you settle on as number one?
I said it was Ryan Whitney. I think it is Ryan Whitney.
It could be Whitney. It could be Russillo's been on a bunch. We love Ryan's on this show.
Mm-hmm. But Whitney's been on consistently like 2 to 3 to 4 times a year for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Florio's been on a lot too.
Yeah, but you're up there, so it's great that you're here.
You're going to start getting some of the guys you call like the Blakes. Do they count? Like when when
Bortles.
You call, like when
we called Lenny Dykstra for an entire year. Yeah, that counts.
Bortles is definitely I'd say he's still top 10, but he was top 5. But since retiring from football, he's semi-retired.
We need one of those animated infographics where it will show like college basketball team wins, and then it will start with like Princeton had the most wins in like 1902, and then you see like the emergence of Duke, and you see the emergence of those are cool.
You should do the
like here comes Whitney. Yeah.
I don't want to be number one though. That's way too much pressure. I just literally anything in life. I don't want to be number one. So
that's smart.
I like that Whitney's number one. He's better suited for it.
So we're taping this on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
We are running this on Friday. There is a Game 5 in Boston on Thursday. Let's start here because you have started a rivalry with Celtics fans. It feels like out of the blue.
It kind of came out of nowhere because watching Game 5 against the Sixers and seeing the Boston fans booing their team, it broke me. And I don't know what. Like I'm like everyone else. Like as I watch the NBA, I cheer against the Lakers and Celtics, and that's that's kind of a typical way to for an average fan to. So I guess I have like an anti-Boston thing in that regard, but I've never really cared that much to go on a rant until I watched them boo it when it wasn't even ending their season, and we all knew that we knew that the Sixers. I guess we didn't know the Sixers were definitely going to lose, but like it was within the realm of possible. I was not shocked that the Celtics went to Philly, won Game 6, and then came back home and won. So the fact that they were booing their team when the season wasn't even over, it just seemed crazy. The entitlement just was insane to me that you were booing a successful team. Like this has been a great Celtics run that they've been on. They have not won a championship. But what Celtics teams do win championships was my point. Yeah.
You know,
I don't get what the standard is in Boston right now.
We talk about different cities and how their different sports teams have different fans. Like Big Cat always brings up how Cleveland, like Cavs fans, are not the same as Browns fans.
Yeah, you
like Browns fans.
Root for Browns fans. Like, wait, shit.
Yeah, same
Not
people,
LeBron
but
fans.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's different. With Boston sports fans, you're just a fucking Boston sports fan.
Yeah, and
across
I
the
guess
board.
that's what's very bizarre to me. Yeah, like Tom Brady played quarterback for your football team. That has nothing to do with your basketball team,
But
or like what the expectation should be for your hockey team. But like they're the one city that seems to operate that way, and it makes zero sense.
Well,
to
I think
me.
it's because they've won so much. Like I know
The Patriots
Browns,
have won so much.
Yeah,
The Red Sox have won. This was the point. Like the Celtics haven't won shit.
right.
So I never understood why, like, if you're a
Recently.
Boston Celtics fan, why you're going in year after year and you have a team that has been to, what is this, 5 out of 7 Eastern Conference Finals?
Something like that, yeah.
Which I'm not saying hang a banner for that, but it's like this is very obviously a great stretch of basketball. This is a great era of Boston Celtics basketball.
But you got to hang a banner.
And if they don't hang a bit, but like I don't understand why that is the standard for the Celtics when that is insane. They've won 1 championship since 1986. So like, why is that the standard?
But I
for
think
the
it's
Boston
all
Celtics?
of them combined. Like I know that Browns fans are LeBron fans. I just separate them because it's like one team is losing historically and the other team is winning. So there's a difference. Whereas
I
it feels
understand
like
how
all
it
their
happened.
teams are in the mix.
I understand how it happens. I just want to call it out as being insane. You know,
So-
like I get how you arrived at that point. It just makes zero sense.
So we don't know what's going to happen in Game 5, but let's say that it doesn't really matter. Do you think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are like put your future on both those guys because they are kind of stuck in a weird spot where the alternative doesn't make as much sense. Like even if you don't like them together, which I think most people like them ish, if you don't love them together, what's the alternative?
This is yeah, like what is, I guess you have to start with what is the expectation, and if you're trying to win the title, and again, I got to be careful with how we're talking about this because everyone seems to think the Celtics are going to come back and they're not dead yet, and you know we're talking about them like they're done and maybe they go on to win the title this year. But from what we've seen so far, it feels like Tatum and Brown cannot get over the hump. They're not going to get over the hump. So if you're saying and I've been led to believe by the Boston fans that this is the expectation year after year as we are trying to win NBA championships, anything less than that is a failure of a season, then yeah, I do feel like something has to be done. But I think there's value in realizing we have we have one of the best teams year after year with these guys.
Keep taking shots.
Keep taking shots. Keep stepping up to the plate. If I was running the team, of course I wouldn't blow it up, but I feel like Celtics fans have gotten to the point where like we're never going to get over the hump. But I maybe I say this as a guy who grew up watching Indiana Pacers basketball, and like this was what the Pacers were. It was like the best case scenario for the Pacers was make the Eastern Finals. They made the finals one time in 2000, and the Lakers handled them. And
Poor Rick Smits.
but I think Pacers fans were like, "That was a sick era, man.
Rick
That was
Smits-
so sick."
Maybe the most dunkable guy in the NBA.
Shaq against Rick Smits
Yeah, it was so
was not fair.
Yeah, but
Big
you're right. Like,
Steve.
because if you blow it up, what does the alternative look like? Do you go back to
I'm also-
to like rebuilding?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm also a big believer in like championships are very hard to win. Just having a consistently good team that gets to the playoffs and deep runs in the playoffs, like you just keep rolling the dice. It's actually Theo
Right.
Epstein. That's kind of his whole strategy. It's like the playoffs is the goal. What happens after that? There's a lot of like bounces and weird shit that happen. Just get to the playoffs every year, and one year it will happen.
It's definitely that way in college basketball too. Where if you look at coaches that have won national championships, a lot of them aren't even with their best teams that they ever had, you know,
Right.
and like even like Bill Self winning the 2020 title was funny to me because all that season I didn't think that Kansas team was a special Kansas team, as compared to like other teams that he's had. But to that point, like you keep knocking on the door. Eventually, you're gonna break through. But
Yeah.
I don't know what it's so unique because I do think the Lakers and Celtics do view their two franchises as if we don't win a title as a failure of a season. So I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to know a lot more by the time this comes out. I'm hoping the Celtics are eliminated because I think Hank, unfortunately, is right that if they win 2, they're winning 4. I've resigned
He's
myself
done
to
that math. He's done that
He
math.
did that math, and also Jake pointed out this was an all-time Jake moment because I don't think he even realized that he was falling into the trap of being real dumbasses talking about sports. And he was saying Game 6 is Game 7. And then
Yeah.
and then by that extension, Game 5, we're about to watch Game 6.
Right.
So we just got done with Game 5 last night.
I am so confident that I understand I'm jinxing this, and this will get thrown back in my face, but I am so confident that the Celtics will not beat the Heat in this series.
Thank you. I just need to hear somebody say it.
That it is actually kind of freaking me out how confident I am. I guess it is so bizarre to me how this team is lifeless. This team hates each other. This team on and on and on, and they win one game, and now we have a series. All the pressure's on the Heat. I think the pressure's on the team that now has to win 3 straight games from here to keep their season alive versus the team that has to win 1.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think the pressure's still on the Celtics.
Well, Hank paused when we asked him if Game 5 was a must-win. He was like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think the pressure might be on the team with a coach who everyone wants fired, and the team that every day they're putting out stories about how much they hate each other and how I don't know. I don't understand why everyone's acting like the pressure's on the Heat.
It's funny because if the Celtics, if they somehow end up winning the series and luck their way into an NBA championship, I could still see a sizable amount of Celtics fan base being like, "You got to fire Joe Mazzulla."
Yeah,
this offseason, regardless.
So
of what happens.
what is the funniest? If the Boston haters out there need help trying to process what's going on here, what is the funniest outcome from here? Because I think sweep's obviously off the board. Game 5 will have already happened by the time everyone's listening to this. But if they lose,
maybe Game 7 blowout.
Game 7 blowout in Boston. Coming back, winning this series, but then getting swept by the Nuggets in the finals.
Yeah, we should talk about the Nuggets. Yeah. We don't talk enough about the Nuggets.
But before we get to the Nuggets, I do.
We don't. Yeah.
This is how everyone does it. You go. We should talk about the Nuggets anyway.
LeBron might retire.
No, I want to talk about the Celtics again real quick. Historically great franchise. When you think of the NBA, you think Boston Celtics, right? Boston Celtics. You would think that they'd be able to have any pick of any coach that they wanted. This offseason, they fire Mazzulla. Let's just say hypothetically they fire him.
Yep.
Probably going to happen. Who should the Celtics be looking at? Brad Stevens?
Brad Stevens.
Guy in the room.
Would Brad Stevens hire himself to coach?
I think he would.
I think Brad's done coaching, unfortunately. And
it's got to be such a better life.
Yeah.
Such a better life to be able to just sit up in the suites and just not have to stress every moment.
You know what's great about his position is he has virtually no accountability. So his job, if the guy that he hires ends up sucking, he can just be like, that guy let me down. That guy stinks. I'm going to get a new guy. And nobody's going to be like, Brad Stevens, you're bad at this.
It would be very weird if I know that people want to fire Joe Mazzulla, but now you're 4 coaches in 4 years.
That's
a very weird feeling to be like, when is it the players? I know the Ime Udoka thing, he wouldn't have been fired because that's different, but still, it is 4 coaches in 4 years is weird.
That's a weird, I agree. That's what I think makes Boston so fascinating right now. And I do think that as much as it was crazy to me to see Celtics fans booing their team when the season wasn't even over, I understand that there's more of this season feels for Boston like a crisis point. Like something is going to change one way or another. Either they're going to get over the hump, make history, and go on to the finals coming down 0-3, or something's gonna have to change. It's just no one can really figure out what should happen and how it should happen. Whether it's coaches and players, how do you blow it up? What does that look like?
They're right at that crossroads where they are about to pay 2 guys the most ever.
Yeah,
and they both probably deserve it, and they're both young, so it's fascinating to see what the future holds.
I think the funniest outcome, if you're cheering for the demise of Boston, is a game set. Joe Mazzulla does just enough to keep his job. They don't the Celtics are just successful enough that they run it back next year with the exact same team, the exact same coach, and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't actually win anything this
year.
That's
all right.
If we could find that middle ground, that would be the funniest.
So speaking of the Nuggets, they just beat the Lakers. I don't know if you saw this. Kyrie Irving was courtside at that Lakers game. What do you think about Kyrie teaming up with LeBron, running that back? Maybe he's the missing piece next year.
Is LeBron
going
to be?
He's coming back.
Is he coming back?
You're probably good friends with him.
No, that doesn't. I don't think. But he said he might retire, so I think he might actually. Right?
Yeah, he's going to retire.
He's
not going to do a retirement.
I'll bet $10,000 to pay off $1,000 that LeBron James does not retire.
I have to get a cat if he retires.
He's not retired.
He's not retiring.
Ever.
Zero. Yeah.
Literally ever.
LeBron retiring, that would be the moment that truly would make me confront my own mortality as a human being.
If LeBron, all right, let's entertain it though. If
It's good Nuggets talk. I like that.
It would be funny though. It would also be funny if LeBron never retires, but he keeps decreasing the percentage. Where like when he's 55, he's like, I'm still better than like 10% of the league.
yeah.
Like it just keeps going down and down.
Would you respect him more? Would you feel like you would have to look in the mirror a little bit with the way we viewed LeBron as a human being and his ego and all that sort of thing? If in fact, well, he's not, but I'm just doing a thought exercise.
Yeah.
If in fact he's done and he kind of does a Jay Wright move where it's like, whoa, that kind of came out of nowhere, and this is it, and we never see LeBron play in the NBA again, and he just goes off into the sunset after being swept. Would you look in the mirror and be like, maybe I had this guy wrong?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd respect Ted Kaczynski more as a writer if he didn't attach a bunch of C4 to his packages, but that's not going to happen with LeBron. Like, yeah, hypothetically, Mark, yes, I would respect that.
No, I would.
If LeBron just said, you know what, I'm done, I don't need the fanfare, I'm walking away, I'm focused on being
If
a dad
LeBron
or
James
whatever.
did something he's never done before
Right,
and
yeah,
changed
right.
everything about his
No,
character.
I would. That absolutely like not because I mean he's going to do the retirement tour. It's going to be 2 years long, 3 years long, and people are going to get fatigued with it. If he just walked off and was like, no, you guys didn't believe me, I actually am done, I would respect the hell out of that.
I would say it's not going to happen.
No.
That would be.
But Kyrie with the Lakers. Let's talk some Nuggets here. So if Kyrie had played on the Lakers this year, if he had been traded to the Lakers instead of to Dallas, do you think that the Lakers would have beaten the Nuggets?
No.
No.
The
right.
answer's no.
Yeah,
The
no,
answer's
that's correct.
I did get a little sad watching. This was the first time watching LeBron where I like my own mortality like factored into watching LeBron. Like this is the first time
Because he ran out of gas.
He ran out of gas.
Like you saw it in the first half
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah. It was like the first
is-
half was like he is emptying the tank.
Yeah.
And to empty the tank, it was basically like a fighter throwing a bunch of punches and none of them having any impact. Like lands a perfect punch and the guy's just standing there like, that's the best you got.
And he kept pushing the button and it wasn't working, and he just kind of like, it was very, and honestly, it speaks to how good the Nuggets were too. I mean, I think LeBron thought he could just. I mean, I don't know what he like. I honestly, I respect the hell out of Game 4 because he very easily could have like packed it in, and he was going balls to the wall. But the Nuggets were just way better.
Well, I mean, Jokic. So speaking of the Nuggets, Jokic has been phenomenal in the playoffs. Does it make you like if you had an MVP vote, would you take it away from Embiid because Embiid's a loser? Like talking about Embiid,
Yeah. I would take the MVP away from.
I would
Embiid.
too.
I
What would you
take
do
it.
about the Sixers?
take
You
it
blow
away.
the Sixers up?
Yeah.
blow the-
Speaking of
blow
Jokic,
Max is mad now. Embiid, tell me this. Hot take. You played basketball. You've been around a lot of good basketball players. You know a lot of the guys. Is there such a thing as just not having that dog in them and being kind of a loser? Like Embiid's a phenomenal basketball player.
Yeah,
Kind of a loser.
I do think. Okay,
it's a great question.
yeah. To answer your question, yes. There's definitively guys who do have the dog in them and don't, and it has become a meme at this point. But there's very much something to that. What I struggle with trying to figure out is it something you're born with, or is it something you can learn along the way?
Can you grow it?
Can you learn how to be a dog?
Yeah. Can you learn how to be a dog? Can you be around? If you get like the right teammate that gets brought into the mix and teaches you the ways.
I think you can get domesticated from a wolf to a dog. Like if you're a real wild kid and you're coming out and you play on that edge, then you can get brought back. I feel like Jimmy Butler was a wolf, and now he's got that dog in him.
Okay,
He's half wolf,
but that
half
was
dog.
so you're saying he was like too crazy.
Yeah,
and
he
they
was
brought it down to a manageable level.
But he's still got that instinct in him where
Can it work the other way though, where you're like a little too passive, a little too soft?
Right.
I don't think you can
And you
turn a
get
cat
pulled-
into a dog.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it was it John Thompson at Georgetown who said like if you need 2 dogs on each team. 2 dogs can get you a championship. 5 dogs will get you fired. Mm-hmm. So you
That
have
makes
to
a lot of sense.
you have to be able to like on average on your team you need 2 of those guys that have that. But I don't think
Yeah, it's like making the whole plane out of Ron Artest. Wouldn't
Yeah.
work.
That would not work.
can't work.
Would not
Yeah.
work.
But I think it's a lot tougher to get a guy that's soft and then turn him hard.
I don't know if you can game
Shout
the
out for
dog.
him.
I don't know if you can.
Who, Billy? Go ahead, Billy. Billy's freaking.
You can gain the dog.
So give us an example.
intense trauma. Girlfriend breaks up with you.
All right, so back to what we're saying.
No,
but
Billy, just unpack that for a second. What type
Yeah.
of intense trauma?
girlfriend breaks up with you. is
You
what he's
all
talking
got a
about.
buddy, funny, good-looking. Then like he gets a mean streak and he just comes back mean. And you're like, oh
Billy just-
shit! What?
By the way, I
happened?
just
You're
want to
talking
just
about
pause.
alcoholism.
I want to pause for a second and just say that, Billy, you've had a pretty nice life when you're like intense trauma. Girlfriend breaks up.
Yeah, that's
no, but like
That's the
everyone,
worst
like,
thing that could
intense
possibly
trauma
happen.
You could think of.
no,
Is your
but, like-
girlfriend just like this
like
isn't working
mean,
out?
like, but that's a classic example where you see a dude.
I would
he's,
say like
lazy.
death probably is
Death.
more.
No, like,
a
like
parent
of course,
dying.
something like that. You just come, you see like your buddy comes back with a mean streak. A lot of it happens. Like girl breaks up with him, then he like gets
like
all
your buddy
pissed off.
loses a beer pong tournament.
Girl
Intense
cheats
trauma.
on you, then that you just get mean.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you get cucked?
Yeah,
But I'm trying
so
to.
what you're saying is like somebody needs to cuck Jason Tatum.
you just need to get immense.
I'm trying to actually think of an example in sports. Like even Anthony Davis, he was with the dog LeBron James, and
Yeah,
he
and he
didn't even
doesn't-
he didn't get the dog from him. Like he
yeah.
wasn't in. It wasn't. So like, is there been?
Well,
a
it's
example?
especially bad with big men going back to Embiid and Anthony Davis, and DeAndre Ayton gets killed for this all the time.
No dog.
That the big men are the worst because it's twofold. That one, they have been put on a track from the second they were like in first grade and they were bigger than everybody. They were told like you're going to be a basketball player, you're going to be a basketball player. That I think by the time they make the NBA and you're in your mid 20s, you're almost 30, whatever it is. Part of you is probably like, I never fucking like this. But
I assume all big men
like big men
kind
hate,
of don't love basketball.
But then the other part, what makes like us as fans go crazy is that all of us watching basketball are like, oh my God, if I was 7 feet tall, I would just destroy everybody at all
be
times.
better than Wilt, yeah.
Yeah. How is this guy given this gift and not? So yeah, the big men stand out more as when it feels like they don't have the dog in it.
I'm going to speak for Max here because I know that he was thinking about this when he said that. I don't think Joel Embiid started playing basketball till he was, 14 years old? 12 years old, something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
13?
pretty sure he played volleyball.
Yeah, he's a volleyball
for
guy.
his youth.
Yeah.
all his youth.
I think you might be able to grow a dog if you have other dogs around you.
That's
that you
what
can that are
You
strong.
gotta be running with the
that are
theoretically,
alpha dogs that kind of show you how to become, a follower. So I would say maybe some of the guys on the old Pistons teams.
Ooh.
So you had Ben Wallace, certified dog, Rasheed
Yeah.
Wallace, certified dog. I think Rip Hamilton became a dog.
That's a good point.
after he got
He was pretty damn doggish though at UConn.
Yeah.
Chauncey, but
Here-
was Chauncey
here's one.
Chauncey might
Here's-
not have been a dog.
Here's one. What about Chris Bosh? Did he kind of get a little dog with the Heat? Because remember, at the Raptors, he was called soft.
That's a good point. That Chris Bosh is a good example.
He might be the example
Yeah.
of a guy who gained some dog.
He was a bitch, then he became a dog in
got
Heat.
a little heat
Yeah.
culture in his life.
Yeah, he got heat culture. He got
Dog-
Dwayne Wade. He got Haslam, LeBron,
Yeah,
getting him tougher.
that's a that's a
He
good.
might be the dog.
that's
He
a
might
good
be the
one.
example. Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins did come to mind, but I don't think he. I think he got so Andrew Wiggins is a good case of is having the dog in you a binary thing where it's yes or no.
Right.
Because I think he's got a skosh of like he's definitely gotten more, but I would still vote that he's not.
Right.
If it's a yes or no, I would say no, but I think he's like 45% there. It's a slight no.
He's like a small dog, like barking at the fence because he knows there's a fucking huge dog right behind him in Draymond Green. Where it's like, I know I can do this because I know that if push comes to shove, I got my big dog to back me up.
Did Steve Kerr like being punched in the face by Michael Jordan? If Steve Kerr wasn't on those Bulls teams,
I think
I don't know
Steve Kerr
Steve
had
Kerr.
I think he had the dog from Billy, intense trauma, getting broken up with your girlfriend or your dad getting
dad
assassinated. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
He probably gained the dog there.
Also, Steve Kerr, by sticking around and still competing and playing at a high level after your teammate punches you in the face, that's dog mentality.
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be cat mentality to just quit, walk away.
Yeah. This is
Man
a
of
great
trade.
discussion. I like this. We're really
Okay.
like hammering down on what it is.
Hypothetically, envision a world where Chris Paul becomes a dog. Who does Chris Paul need to be around to become a dog?
Not Kevin Durant and DeAndre Ayton. And
Yeah.
Devin
I think
Booker.
Chris-
I would say.
Chris
I would
Paul
say no.
might be a dog. He's just too small.
But what?
He is.
Like, is there anybody in the NBA?
What
you
about
team
him
Chris
feels
Paul?
like a dog though?
He's kind of dirty. He's kind of.
He's more of a bitch.
Yeah, probably.
He's more of a.
Yeah, he probably is more of a bitch. You're right.
Yeah.
There goes our Chris Paul interview.
It's funny because like
I said that.
We've
I
already
said-
said
yeah,
so
all right, all
much
right.
stuff. He got offered to us. We're like, yeah, we'd love to have him on. Do you know what we say? We'll find out.
Chris Paul is objectively speaking much better than Baron Davis was, but I would much rather have Baron Davis on my team in a big game.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
is-
Dog.
yes. This,
I don't think anyone else who's gained it, who's gained that dog to him.
this is a great. I'm sure the
There've probably been some relief pitchers that get, or some pitchers that get moved to being a closer, and then they only have to pitch one inning, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy figured it out." No, he
Yeah.
only has to go out there and throw 9 pitches, 100
Right.
miles per hour.
There's also some dog presenting players where if you actually look into it, like, I'll say it, is Zion a dog?
No.
No, but he is
but
dog
he-
presenting
Well,
because
he-
he's physically like such a specimen, and he's had when he has been on the court, he's been special, but he might not be a
Yeah.
dog.
yeah. This is a great. This is what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm
Yeah,
gonna sit
just
in
go
bed,
through
just
all
try
the
to think,
NBA
like,
players and just be like, dog or no.
What happens with Dame? He's a certified dog.
Yeah.
But he has no pack to run with.
Dame and Jimmy Butler are probably my two favorite guys, two favorite Americans, I should say, in the NBA at this point, because they feel like the only two guys that just hate everybody, and,
Yeah.
and they just like they're not buddy because like this
It's
is
the old school Derrick Rose when he was
Yeah.
like pissed at LeBron for dancing and stuff. Like I love
Yeah.
like that mentality of like, hey, we're not friends.
I do think that is like the part of the NBA that's turned off a lot of people. Like there's a million reasons, and especially you go into Middle America and ask people
China.
why they don't like
China.
the NBA. They'll give you a million reasons. But I do think that like the first thing, if I could make one fix immediately for next season, it would be if there was some way to make the players not all be best friends again. That would be my first
They
fix.
just all hate each
They
other.
all hate, if they all like looked at each other like Dame and Jimmy Butler look at the rest of the league.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
That would be awesome. But I don't know how you do that because all these guys are in like a small fraternity of dudes that like I was saying earlier, that like when they're 12 years old, they're told you're going to play in the NBA, and then they all like find each other at academies and then become best friends. And,
Right.
I mean, the NBA and the way that basketball is set up down to the AAU level and up, kind of it made that behavior happen because
Right.
the players were exploited for so long in the NBA. The league was making tons of money. Players weren't allowed to make anything going to college. They weren't even allowed to jump directly to the NBA for a little bit. Then they were, then they're not. It's been stacked against the players for a long time. And so coming up with that environment, the players were actually smart to band together as young as they have to be like, hey, listen, we need to be on the same page to maximize how much money we're going to make, help our families out, that whole
Right.
thing. I get that. That's actually a smart thing that they've done. But now the players have all the power.
Right.
And it does seem like it would be a much better product if they somehow figured out a way to like financially be on the same page in terms of collective bargaining and all that, but at the same time just hate the shit out of it.
I wish there was a way all the players can make as much money as they're making, because ultimately if it's coming down to like the billionaire owners versus the millionaire players, like I don't really care. I'd give the players a ton of money, but I wish there was a way they could make the money. They just don't know they're making that much money, because I wish there's a way. I wish there's a way you could like weed out the guys that don't want to be there, because like I was saying, all these big dudes that they're not going to quit playing basketball because they make so much damn money. But there was, if you romanticize the past of the NBA, they have the years where like the superstars were making $1 or $2 million a year, like back in the 70s or 80s or whatever. There probably was more of a love for the game type shit. Like the guys who are out there were not doing it because they're going to get generational wealth. They were doing it because they just want to beat the shit out of the guy on the other team.
Yeah.
So if there's a way we could like pay these players, but not actually.
They don't know how much.
They don't know how much they're running. Like when they retire, it's like, by the way, here's the $400 million a year.
That'd be nice if at the end of every season there was like an AI script that just took all the minutes you played, all your stats, your playoff wins, all that, and at the end of every season, there's like bank account reveal day.
Yeah, you
exactly.
get paid for what you did that year.
Because it does piss me off. Like LeBron, he had the one famous press conference when he was it was asked about his haters, and he's like, at the end of the day, they got to wake up to their shitty lives, and I'm still gonna be.
Yeah.
That attitude. I mean, one, you're jealous when you're a fan and you see all that, but the other part is like you want this to. You don't want like when the Phoenix Suns are getting eliminated from the playoffs, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant to just be shrugging their shoulders and be like, fuck it, we're rich as shit, dude. Like, who cares?
No,
You know?
yeah, right.
can
Like,
think
our
that.
life goes on.
You can think that, but please don't remind me what a loser I am.
Right.
It's a weird setup because it's good perspective by the players, but also not what fans want to hear. Like they're actually having the healthy perspective on life.
Very healthy, but also, it's not.
That we actually should probably take a healthier perspective of like it's only a game.
I'm trying to figure out how we get both, and I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately. But yeah,
they're not going to hit each other.
Yeah.
So going off LeBron, and we're talking about the Nuggets versus the Lakers. How good do you think Bronny Jr. is going to be at USC?
I don't think he's going to start, and I think that
you have to start him. Come on,
they are going. I mean, they have they have the number one recruit in the country is going to start over him. Like, I don't understand. Like this is what's fascinating to me about USC is that Andy Enfield has just kind of overnight become the John Calipari type guy who's just like the roster construction of having Dennis Rodman's son transferred from Washington State. You have Bronny James. You have the number one recruit in the country, Isaiah Cowell, one of the number one recruits in the country. They have dudes coming back that are very good. I don't think he's going to start, but I think he's going to be a very, very good player. But because his name is Bronny James and he's going to come off the bench and he's going to be a great defender. He is a great defender. He is a good shooter. I think he's going to be very successful in his role for USC. But he is going to get killed for it because he's not going to start and average 20 points a game.
Counterpoint, he's LeBron James' son, and LeBron James controls everything in basketball.
Yeah.
You don't you think USC's coach is secure enough in his position where he can afford to tune out LeBron James?
I think LeBron is smart enough to know what's best for Bronny would be coming off the bench. Now, he's going to have to deal with, like I said, like the media circus of as USC season wears on and he keeps coming off the bench, and everyone's going to be talking about it. Does he actually suck? But as far as like his actual basketball development, putting him in that role would be great for him.
Yeah, because
it's just a matter of whether.
Yeah, I mean, going from the bench to eventually, if he's good enough to starting, is a great story. Starting and then going to the bench that's the failure.
Yeah, but
So,
they have Boogie Ellis back. They have. The USC's backcourt is very, very, very good. And I think but that's what's fascinating. I guess that Andy Enfield has put himself in a position where it's like, are you trying to talking about like taking the John Calipari route? Where are you trying to win games in college, or are you trying to like do something else where you're like building a brand of USC basketball? And I don't know what the right move is in 2023 at this point, but. If he's trying to win games, Bronny should come off the bench, and that's not because Bronny's bad. It's because I think that's the best role for everyone on the team.
Is this a hot seat year for Cal? Well, yeah, I can't believe we went this long without asking, because they do have a really good team.
This Kentucky team is going to be wild. This Kentucky team is Robert Dillingham and DJ Wagner, like they're two. They have a great recruiting class, but those two dudes. I'm not a recruiting expert, but I am a guy that gets on YouTube and Googles recruits every so often.
Have you watched the Gus Bus yet?
I have watched. Yeah, you've got me on it.
Wisconsin. I might call him Baby Jokic, by the way. I'm still deciding. It's a chubbier kid in Wisconsin who's committed to the Badgers who has the smoothest chubby big game ever, and his name is Gus. Literal name is Gus.
The Gus Bus.
The Gus Bus, yeah. Okay, but yeah, go on about
the two Kentucky freshmen. They have a bunch of freshmen coming in. They're awesome. But the two headliners, they love having the ball in their hands, and they love dribbling it, and they love going nowhere with their dribbles, and they love.
I like that.
It's gonna be
I like
awesome.
that. I like
this
that.
is gonna be
I like
awesome
that.
to watch.
It's gonna be good.
So it's a hot seat,
but they're
here.
also super talented. So it's gonna be a fascinating Kentucky team for sure.
What about Cal? As far as a recruiter goes, obviously he's one of the best to ever do it. What about as an X's and O's guy? Has the criticism been warranted of Coach Cal?
I think the criticism is warranted in the sense of like all the talent he's had through the years. Now, like he's doing things. If you want to defend him, you would say that like he's playing a game that no one else has been playing, and like managing the egos and handling a bunch of freshmen year in and year out and having the revolving door of talent is tougher than it looks. But at the same time, I mean, if you're watching the playoffs this year in the first round and you just like stop and count up all the guys that are scoring 40 points every night in the NBA that played at Kentucky for John Calipari, and he's won one title. It is pretty wild to think about. But no, at this point, Cal is the criticism's warranted of how he approaches the game, and Kentucky fans are like losing their minds over lineups and all that sort of thing. So
yeah.
I love this Nuggets stuff. This is great.
Yeah, no, I actually do have a Nuggets question because they are advancing the finals. A lot of people have doubted the Nuggets over the years. I don't consider myself to be one of them. I'm leading from the front on the Nuggets. What do the Celtics have to do to beat the Nuggets in the NBA Finals?
Who guards Jokic? Can't put Al Horford on him.
I love the Nuggets. To me, feel like I've been making this comparison for a few weeks, and I'm getting more confident in it. They feel like the Warriors in 2015, where the feeling I have watching them feels very similar to like when the Warriors were first. Before they ripped off all their titles, if you remember, Charles Barkley is the name that comes to mind. Because I just remember Barkley being on TV every night. Like, they're fun, they're good, they're not winning the title. They can't win the title because they're soft.
And they jump shoot.
Yeah, jump shooting teams can't win the title. It can't happen.
It's the best thing to think about.
It can't happen. And I feel like that's kind of where we were at with the Nuggets, where I think everyone agreed that they're a great team, but are they a great regular season team? Are they too soft? Can they play defense? They adding KCP and Aaron Gordon has been great defensively, and Bruce Brown's been so like they've made some tweaks to like address their issues. They're still not like a defensive minded team though, so there have been concerns about whether a team that's so heavily offensive minded can, you have to play some sort of defense, because as much as the Warriors light up the scoreboard, they
play great defense.
They still play great defense when they're winning titles. But yeah, that's where I feel very similar things watching this Nuggets team that I felt watching the Warriors in 2015, where I'm like, I don't think but at the same time, god damn, they're good. And Jokic, the stuff he does feels like Steph.
Yeah.
Not I don't mean the same stuff. I just mean like the way you just like start cackling, laughing, watching him play, and you're like, how is this man?
Well, and they actually are similar in the fact that when you're watching Jokic or Steph, the defense has to basically always like it's almost like a vacuum where everyone has to collapse on them because they're so dangerous that you get open shots for everyone else.
And you think he's good for like with Steph, you think the reason he's good is because he's such a great shooter, and it is. But Steph's an incredible passer. Steph's an incredible ball handler. Steph does all these other things really well that if you get caught up in thinking like all we have to do is, because that was the thing with Steph when he first like came into the league, that people that didn't really know what the hell they were talking about with him was like, why don't you just like crawl up into him and like not let him get a shot? Just put a hand in his face and not let him get a shot. It's like, well, he's gonna dribble right past you, or he's gonna. Jokic is the same way. Where that was what was cracking me out after Game 1 with the Lakers, where Rui Hachimura guarded Jokic at the end of Game 1 for like 6 possessions, and because the Nuggets were up by 40 and then won by 25, it was like the Lakers have figured something out.
Right.
But I was laughing at it because I'm like, as soon as you think you figured out Jokic, he can do so many other things well that there is no. He's not good because he's a good shooter. He's not good because he's a good passer. He's not good because he's good because he's a great basketball player.
All around.
He could. If you double team him every time he touches the ball, he will kill you and he will be the best player on the floor. If you don't double team him every time he touches the ball, he will kill you and he will be the best player on the floor.
Do you know what it is? It's another debate, and you're absolutely right. Like when people were tweeting like, "Oh yeah, Jokic hasn't scored in the fourth quarter," it's like, but do you understand that he is making all these shots happen? Like they're all scoring because of him. Hooper versus basketball player. Jokic is a hooper.
Jokic is a hooper, yeah.
And then there's basketball players. Jaylen Brown's a basketball player.
Okay, so
I actually think the other way around.
Hold on, because it seems like you're heading down a road where basketball player is not good.
No,
Hooper is
yeah.
good.
No, they are good, but it's not as it doesn't seem as natural. Like Kevin Durant's a hooper.
Yeah. But I think there are hoopers that are like, I think Jordan Poole's a hooper, and I would love Jordan Poole to be more of a basketball player at times.
I think that's why. Remember when USA Basketball hit that swoon in the 2000s? We had a shitload of hoopers.
Way
on the
too many
team.
hoopers.
Yeah.
All hoopers. Like our 3-point threats were, I think, like Jason Richardson was like our dead eye outside shooter, and we were getting bodied by Argentinians and Eastern Europeans because they're basketball players.
Right.
I think basketball player is better than hooper if you're at like that top level.
It depends on what you want out of. It depends on the role. If for your superstar you want a hooper, I think.
Yeah, because Jokic can do everything, and he also like can. It's just it's natural for him. Like everything is fluid and feels natural when you're watching it.
Yeah,
or it doesn't like he's never thinking. It feels like
he's incredible.
It's all innate.
It is. It is hilarious that he did not win the MVP. It's fine. I mean, I don't really care. I think it is valid to give a guy an MVP because you're bored with the guy that's won it the last 2 years. I think that's a fair
fatigue.
I think ultimately, like it's a fucking entertainment. You know, like the whole reason the NBA exists is just for like for storylines and entertainment, whatever. And if you decide we've given it to this guy 2 years in a row, we kind of want some new blood in there. that checks out. But it is hilarious that, from my understanding, the reason he didn't want to give it to Jokic is because he keeps coming up short in the playoffs.
Right.
So we give it to Embiid, and now Jokic might win the title.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys don't understand what a smart player Jokic is. I do.
Yeah,
Me and LeBron, we both understand.
Yeah.
We saw from day one what a special guy was.
Right.
I think Jokic might be almost as good a passer as Steph Curry is a shooter.
He's an incredible pass. I mean, he's
and his touch is just insane.
My favorite ones are the floaters where he's jumping off his right foot, shooting with his right hand. A shot that when I was coming up in basketball, no one would practice because it'd be absurd if you tried a shot like that. And now these guys do practices. This is if you see the Drew Hanlon workout videos, like there's guys doing like wrong foot jumps with opposite. They're doing everything. Like the guys are super skilled, but seeing a guy that big and that sloppy who kind of like waddles up and down the court, like shooting wrong-footed, wrong hand, like
the soccer throw-ins behind the back of the neck.
He also has
it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is, and he also has a little bit of similar to like Paul Pierce, where Paul Pierce wasn't the most athletic or the fastest guy, but there's like never. It's all deliberate steps. Like Jokic knows where he's going and the deliberate step. Like he doesn't have to beat you with speed if he uses deliberate steps.
Right. Yeah. I think too, as I'm thinking with the Steph comparison and the Warriors comparison and all that, Steph and Jokic both have the feeling as you're watching them that it feels like you're watching yourself, because Jokic being a bigger boy that is not exactly chiseled, feels like he's overweight or whatever. I think there's an element of like you almost forget he's 7 feet tall.
Right.
So like when you're watching him, you're like, that kind of looks like me when I, and the same people are doing the same thing with Steph, where like Steph's like the lore of Steph Curry has been built to where he's just like this 5'7", scrawny, like underdog. I'm like, this dude's the son of an NBA player, like an All-American volleyball player,
and he's a tall person. If you put him in regular like world,
he's got incredible genetics.
I know,
but like but when you're watching him, you're like, that could be me out there because I'm not that big either.
Yeah.
So I think this sense of wonder as you're watching both of those guys, the optical illusion I think plays into it as well.
It would be very funny if we joke about how Steph Curry ruined basketball. Where now everybody goes out on the court. If you're a kid, if you're like the biggest kid out there, you still want to shoot from 40 feet out because you want to be Steph. What if the opposite? What if Jokic just dominates for the next 10 years in the NBA and every kid grows up trying to be Jokic, even like the little kids?
There's just an influx of fat people.
Playing basketball. Yeah. I mean, that would be good for the league, I think. Just load it up with a bunch of fatties.
Gus Bus. He's going to get chiseled, but he's fat. But he's also 18.
All right, so Nuggets and how many?
I do think that if the Celtics come back, I guess this is the reality we have to live in, that the Celtics are going to come back and beat the Heat. If the Nuggets are the best team left in the NBA, I mean the Celtics at their best might be better than I don't know that becomes a debate, but I just don't understand why everyone keeps thinking the Celtics are going to do the one thing I don't know, but they keep surviving. I guess I'm talking myself into it now. I'm so confident that they're not going to win. Like I keep saying that.
They're down 3-1, Mark. 3-1. It's never happened.
It's never happened.
But you bet on them, so that makes it. You bet on the Heat, which makes it. That I was the first time I was nervous about the Celtics like coming back and actually doing this is them winning and PFT doing that bet. Because that is like that. That is how. And Hank being able to laugh in your face, like that is the story of this show.
Counterpoint, Jake Marsh.
But do you?
True.
I got Jake Marsh on my side.
Do you remember the times that something like this happened, and then the Heat went out in Game 5 and won by 19, and and then they just moved on, and everyone just forget. Like I feel like there's confirmation bias with this stuff.
Mm-hmm. True.
Then you remember the jinxes, but do you remember the time when you were like, there's no world in which the Celtics are going to come back, and then in fact the Celtics do not come back, and we all just move on.
I could also see a world where 5 years from now we're still making fun of Hank for his series clinching Game 4 victory in Miami to go down 3-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and the victory lap that he took after that.
Yeah, it's the it's the Cavs and Warriors, whatever it was, 2017 or 2018 when they were down. I think the Warriors won Game 4, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" Or sorry, the Cavs won Game 4. Yeah, and then the Warriors beat them in 5.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets are gonna. I mean, the Nuggets have been a machine, and they are. It's been fascinating watching people slowly go from like I think there's a way they could do it to they're in the mix to now it's like they are because they're so much deeper than they get credit for. Like having Michael Porter Jr. be your third option offensively is insane. Insane to have that luxury, a 6'10" guy that just lets it rip. And there were times that Austin Reeves was guarding him, and he wasn't even there. He's trying to put his hand in his face, and Porter just jumping over him and shooting. Aaron Gordon's awesome. Like this Nuggets team is so freaking fun, and everyone that's worried about a Heat Nuggets finals.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
And they're like, I don't want to watch that. Like you obviously cheer for laundry and not basketball,
right?
Because like the Heat and the Heat and the Nuggets are the two best teams to this point. Again, the Celtics, as we know, are going to come back and beat the Heat. But the Heat have been the way they've been playing in the playoffs has been awesome and fun to watch. But the Nuggets are the most fun team to watch in the NBA. So I don't understand why you would rather have the Lakers and 38-year-old LeBron running out of gas and AD giving half-ass effort. D'Angelo Russell, like, is he going to be good tonight or not? Like, why would you want that in the finals versus the team that's
completely agree
rooting for laundry? That's what they're doing. I think that would be the highest disparity possible in terms of elevation between two cities in the finals: Miami and Denver, right?
New Orleans.
Miami's New Orleans is below sea level.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Miami is like right at.
I guess
sea
New Orleans
level.
couldn't play Denver. New Orleans, Utah. But they can't play either. So I guess it probably
Miami,
is.
Utah might be more.
Yeah, Miami, Utah.
Is Utah higher?
These are the really important
great.
questions.
Yeah.
I have one last question. Rowback question. Promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-Zips, polos, hoodies, shorts, joggers.
Shorts are back.
Everything. Shorts are back. Rowback.com. RHOBACK.com. So Titus, we are, 2 months away from the Chicago move.
Yep.
What are you most looking forward to in the new office? I can't wait till it opens.
I can't wait.
I want to snap my fingers and have it be September.
September 1st, it's opening for sure. Definitely, nothing can go wrong.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's on.
What
Football.
are we? Is it on track?
It is pretty much on track.
Really?
Yes.
Basically
Yes.
on track.
Yes. Football. TJ.
No, hold on. Is it on track for Pardon My Take, or is it on track for all of us?
Possibly.
TJ said to me, he goes, we might have to push back the opening of the office because they don't want to open it in waves. They don't want to open it in stages. They want it. They want to open it for everybody at the same time. But also, Pardon My Take's going to move in first, and then everyone else. And I was like, is that not the definition of stages?
Well, I mean, I said to because Hank wanted to wait, and I was like, dude, if we wait till it's fully done, we won't open till January. I confidently think we will be in there working. Still have to finish some things by week 1 of the NFL.
All right.
Yeah, I do. You don't, Max?
Are you,
No shot.
Shut up. Why you got to put negative energy out there?
what has a better chance?
There's just a difference between what Hank thinks is happening and what Big Cat thinks is happening.
Yeah.
There's just
Hank
colliding.
Hank wants
there's
to
just
open, Hank
colliding
wants to do a
thoughts.
fucking like cribs, like shiny, ribbon cutting thing. I want to go to work. I want to go to work. When they're ready with a microphone and a chair, get us in.
Office open.
I think he's exactly correct. We will be in there first.
Now here's
Yeah. And then, but there's no way the whole office is in there at September 1.
Now, if
No
the
way.
Heat win the next game and then Hank's not allowed to golf for all of June, that office is going to open
He
on
might
time.
build it himself.
That's going to
Yeah,
open on
that's
time.
right.
If Hank is able to play golf through the month of June, we might not get in there till January.
Right.
Yeah. I'm excited whenever it happens. I've been working under the assumption that it's
We need to stop that. We need to put positive.
What has a better chance of happening? The Celtics coming back from down 0-3, or this office, or me? Never mind you guys, because you're gonna obviously rightfully so get in there first and all that.
It would be
me
funny
doing
if our podcast studio is completely finished and they haven't started anything else.
all the trim. Like you got like
It's
all
a bare wall.
Brandon Walker would burn the place down.
Yeah.
Brandon needs to have his studio done first.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
priority
sharing a
number
studio
one.
with Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Mark Titus show featuring Brandon Walker.
That would be awesome if my half of the studio was done.
Yeah. We should. I can make that happen. Yeah.
So what is the thing that you're most excited for?
I'm excited for. Honestly, this might sound stupid, but I'm excited to just be around. Like, I'm excited to be in a sports city. Not to shit on LA. I love LA. I love living there. I'm excited to live in a city where I can on a Saturday go to a bar and I don't have to tell them to put on the football games.
Yeah,
or
that's
the
facts.
Sunday that I'm actually very excited. Every time I go to Chicago and I walk around and I see Big Ten bumper stickers and flags and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It gets the juices pumping.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be around my people, basically.
And just the office. Like, I am very excited to. You're here.
Oh,
right
you meant
now
like
for
the bar?
dozen.
Oh, the bar. Yeah,
No, but that's fine. But you're here for the dozen, and the office has been buzzing.
Yeah.
But then you can see when people leave, it like falls flat again. I want buzzing all the time.
I mean, I'm the same way. I work from home. When I was working at the Ringer, they were based in LA. I'm living in Ohio. I was losing my mind working from home, so I was like, I gotta get out of here. I moved to LA, and then I got out there, and they're like, yeah, we don't really come into the office. I was like, this is crazy. So then I went to Fox, and then the second I go to Fox, COVID happens, and everyone's at home. Like, so this has been like, I've been starving for an office to go into and mix it up with the boys.
This makes me want to never open the office.
Yeah,
and just be like, hey, Titus, actually, we're all working remote. There was no office.
I would go crazy.
No, there will be an office.
That's why like I'm trying to I've gotten to a point where I'm mentally preparing for me to move to Chicago and set up my home office. And it will be a luxury if you come to me in September and you're like, we have a studio for you ready if you
We're
want
gonna
to
have it. I'll fucking grab a shovel. I don't give a fuck. We need this office. All right. Well, Titus, everyone go subscribe to the Mark Titus Show on YouTube. Thank you as always.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in like a month and a half.
Let's do it.
Mark Titus, the tightest man in America, was brought to you by Coors Light. Sometimes the days get so crazy that you forget to make time for fun. When that happens, you've got to choose to chill. Choose to chill, guys. Go ahead, say yes to midweek happy hours. Say yes to catching the game after work. And while you're at it, enjoy an ice-cold Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill. I've noticed that the mountains are exceptionally blue this summer. I've seen a lot of blue mountains. Love it when people tweet those at us. Love seeing the icy cold Coors Lights in the coolers, in your hands. I actually think the mountains get bluest during a daytime baseball game. If you're watching baseball, if it's on your couch at home, if it's at the stadium, no matter what, that's when you're going to see the bluest mountains possible. Nice sunny summer day, blue mountains, nothing like it. There's only one beer out there that's literally made to chill. That's Coors Light, baby. The mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue. You know that. That way, you always know when it's time to chill. While you're making time to chill, crack open a Coors Light. It's a mountain cold refreshment. It's made to chill. I'm telling you, I'm going to drink so many Coors Lights watching baseball games this summer. When you choose to chill, pair your plans with an ice-cold Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Titus was also brought to you by Topgolf. We love our friends over at Topgolf. I actually went to Topgolf 2 weeks ago. Went to the one out in Ashburn, Virginia. Walloped some dingers. Was playing all the different modes. I actually like playing the Angry Birds mode at Topgolf. If you're with people that don't know how to golf, doesn't matter. They're going to love playing the Angry Birds mode. It's golf. It's not golf. It's Topgolf. We've got a bunch of stuff that makes Topgolf Topgolf. The clubs, the balls, the tees, the turf, even a ball picker upper cart thing. They also have a whole bunch of stuff that's not golf. They've got loud music, giant targets in the giant fairway, giant TVs, and a handcrafted food and beverage menu. You can go play at Topgolf. You can watch whatever games are on TV at the same time. They've got couches. They've got drinks. They've got great food. They've got it all at Topgolf. They even have a whole day each week dedicated to more play for less pay. They do this thing on Tuesday where all gameplay is half price, giving players more reason to come play around. Exclusions apply to the Half Price Tuesday promotion. Full terms can be found at topgolf.com/Tuesday. The Topgolf experience has a vibe. It's all about playing and having fun. It's golf. It's not golf. It's Topgolf. And pro tip, download the app, book ahead of time to come play around on Half Price Tuesday or any other day. What does LeBron say? Topgolf Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's golf. It's not golf. It's Topgolf. Download the app, book a bay, and come play around.
Okay, we got a new sponsor alert.
Actually, let's let Max do the noise.
Max, do the noise. Yes, that's perfect. New sponsor alert.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, there it is. It's Max. We're not talking about Max, our Max. We're talking about Max, the most exciting streaming destination with the best in entertainment. Of course, we're talking about Max, the official Max. Not, again, our Max, not Batgirl, not that Italian homo. We're talking about Max, our Max.
It's a winning Max.
The winning Max. It's the new Max. It's the best in entertainment. They have shows and movies from the Food Network, TLC, the DC Universe, Adult Swim, and more. the new Shazam movie, Rick and Morty, Diners, Drive-Ins, Dives. They're all on Max. I actually made the switch last night. It was super easy. Took me 30 seconds. I watched Succession, first episode ever. I've watched obviously the whole series, but I went back in time, watched the first episode ever on Max, and of course, all the HBO originals like Succession, Winning Time, and The Last of Us are on Max. They've got something for every mood, and plans start as little as $9.99 a month. Subscription required. Visit max.com. Max, the one to watch. Sign up now at max.com. Max, the one to watch. Sign up now at max.com. And part of this sponsorship, we're going to be doing movie reviews, and we're going to start, though, and TV. We're going to start this week because Succession series finale, Sunday night, 90 minutes. I'm so excited. I don't remember the last time I've been this excited about a series finale, PFT. By the way, if you're listening right now, you haven't watched, spoiler alert, we are going to talk about Succession. So we'll put in a timestamp. If you have not caught up, stop listening right now and jump ahead. But we are going to talk. There will be some light spoilers in this preview of the Succession series finale.
Also, before we start, in honor of Max, who's his birthday today, I got him a present that I'm going to give to you guys.
Oh, happy birthday, Max.
Happy birthday, Max.
I didn't know it was your birthday. How old are you? 40?
I'm 28. Big Cat was mean on Twitter and said I was not 28.
What did I say?
You said I was 39, I believe.
My thumbs slipped.
Yeah.
I thought you were 40.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, insult
What are they?
socks.
They're insult socks.
Hank got
Number
Max.
one dog dad. Oh, no.
His soul patch socks.
Look at that.
That was memes.
Oh,
Shout out to
these
memes.
are beautiful.
Are these for Max or are these for us?
They're for
It's
two
Max's
pairs for Max.
birthday present, yeah.
Oh,
for you guys.
I'll wear a
Okay.
pair as well.
Yeah.
We both have a pair. Number one dog dad.
These are so
Max. Good job, Max.
Hank, did you make his face fatter in Photoshop?
This is a meme special. I'm just the messenger.
No, I think that's how fat his face is.
It looks like you got stung by bees.
Yeah, so it's Maxapalooza right now. Happy birthday, Max. Let's talk some Succession. Series finale. PFT, where do you want to start?
Who do you think is going to win?
Okay.
What's the here's how we'll start it. So what's the play?
What's the play? I love Succession. It's one of my favorite shows. It's been a fantastic series. If you haven't watched it, you should. I assume most people who are listening right now have watched it. I do love that now the theories are starting. One of my favorite ones is Greg is somehow going to climb the top and win it all.
I was thinking that Greg might do it, but that also feels a lot like Bran becoming king at the end of Game of Thrones. So I switched off that take. I think Connor's actually going to end up doing something big in the last show.
So I was thinking about it because it's like, oh, wouldn't it be fun? Because, when you get to the end of a great series like this, everyone has their theories. Everyone wants something crazy to happen. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen. I think it's going to be in line with the show in that the theme of the show is everything's transactional. These people are brutal, brutal people who have no morals and they just cut each other's throats. They say, I love you. Then they cut each other's throats the next day. I think it is going to be Kendall because, like I said, I watched the first episode ever and he was the beginning of the episode. He was supposed to take over then. And I think that what we've seen in this season is Kendall has slowly, finally morphed into his dad, where last episode we saw him just berating Roman, being like, you fucked it, you fucked this up. That was very Logan-like.
Mm-hmm. And when he's talking to old Skinny Neck, and he was like, listen.
Hugo, the H-Man.
Listen, this is what's going to happen, Hugo. You're gonna make millions, but you're gonna be my dog.
Yeah, and he said woof woof.
Woof woof.
Yeah, it was a great scene. But so yeah, Hugo, Jess, I'm basing this all, my theory is based all on the last episode where he tells Roman he fucked it. He basically belittles him. He also had a moment where Roman couldn't do, for the second time this season, Roman couldn't step up. He couldn't step up for Live Plus. He couldn't step up for his dad's obituary. He basically, eulogy. Kendall had to go and save the day twice, and he's finally morphed into his father, where he berated Roman. He is at odds with Shiv, where they essentially will have no relationship going forward. You saw the scene where Jess, his assistant, quit, and he's basically alone. He then tried to get what's the guy's Colin, Logan's old bodyguard who knows that Kendall killed a person. He's like, yeah, why don't you come in with me? Like, I have no friends. You will be my friend. That was Logan's only friend in life, essentially. And you also saw the scene with his ex-wife and kids, where all of his relationships have completely erased. He has no one left. And I think that is how they're going to end the show, where with no one left, he becomes the king, but at what cost? Literally his entire life. And that's kind of what Logan was, whereas like he was the king, but he had no relationship with his kids or good relationship with his kids. Everyone feared him. Everyone hated him behind his back. So it's like he's finally morphed into the final iteration of Logan.
So he's a tragic figure that could end up becoming successful, but also everybody knows like he's going to have a bad life moving forward.
Right. He has no one. He has no one with him.
I could see Connor, or I could see Roman going off and doing like a Keith Olbermann, like getting real woke on him and going to the other side.
Yeah.
And like I could see Connor turning his back, becoming like the Liz Cheney of that family.
Yep.
And turning their back on everything that the family was for and trying to score points on the other side.
Because that happened with
forward.
the Murdochs. Isn't there one Murdoch?
Is there one?
I'm pretty sure one of them is like hates the way Fox News is run.
It might be the case, but I think one of them is going to turn on the entire family, turn on ATN, turn on everything. I think the Scandinavian dude that's supposed to be like kind of like the Elon Musk of that world, he's going to get found out for being a huge fraud, and he's going to fade away. He's looked weaker and weaker as the series has gone on.
There also feels like there's got to be at least some conclusion to him sending quarts of blood to his ex-girlfriend, who's also his head of PR.
Yeah, there's a very funny tweet from Owen Phillips, and it lists the 10 most common words that they say on Succession. And they listed them all out, and he said that it sounds like you're doing a Kendall Roy impression.
Okay.
So
number one has to be fuck, right?
No, that's number 3. So if you read the most common 10 words, it's fuck, no, just okay, like oh well, right. that might as well be a script right out of Kendall Roy's mouth.
Yes.
Can we get a power ranking, your top 5 characters?
Ooh, I like Roman. Roman's funny. Now he's a real piece of shit, and he's become more of a piece of shit. But he's still
they're all pieces of shit.
He's still like very funny.
Roman is very funny. Greg is obviously the comedic effect of the show. That was great during Ewan's eulogy, who is Logan's brother. He went up and eulogized Logan, and Greg afterward was like, "That was a hard take.
Yeah,
that was a hard take right there."
Now Ewan might come out on top.
He could,
because if there's anybody that truly knows where the bodies are buried,
right?
And really, the last big fuck off that Logan could leave in his wake would be by giving all the information about how bad the company is to a guy that already hates the company and has been trying to take him out for years, and letting his own brother sink the ship on all of his fuck up sons and daughters.
Yes.
The more I think about it, that
could happen.
That could happen. Like he comes in, just destroys the company and everything they've worked for.
The only reason I think so. Top 5 characters. Greg. I love Tom. Tom is very funny. Mm-hmm. Roman for sure. I'm trying to think who else would be in the top. I mean, Logan was obviously the son that like everyone orbited around.
The Disgusting Brothers are so funny.
The Disgusting Brothers are so funny. It also fucks me up whenever I'm watching a Shiv and Tom scene, which this season has been like that scene of them on the porch, whatever it was, episode 7 was just like incredible acting. But there was a part of me that was like, Tom's actually British and Shiv's Australian.
Yeah, that if you watch the like, post show when they interview him, it breaks your brain. It's like hearing Idris Elba speak for the first time, and you're like, wait, this guy's not from Baltimore?
It tells you how great these actors are, because I really do believe that Tom is from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, so the only reason I keep going back to Kendall is this show is so brutal, and it's so like it's so clear what it's capitalism, it's transactional, everything is transactional. And it feels like, as much as we want it to be some crazy ending where someone dies or Greg takes over, it's like just the idea that Kendall will be at the top, but he will have no one. He will have no family, nothing. No one will be like Kendall. He will have given up his entire life to get the one thing he's been after since episode 1, like 10 minutes into episode 1, he was trying to do this. And it will be like, at what cost? At what this is how the world works. You got what you wanted, but you have nothing.
So
Thanos.
The undercurrent, yeah. What did it cost? Everything. The undercurrent in this entire show is that Logan has he's been a bad guy to his entire family. His family hates him, but they have no choice but to use him to advance their own careers.
Right.
And any sibling or any child that is closest to him at any given time is the one that's in power. Only for Logan to just rip all that power away from them at the drop of a hat. It's like when he wrote his will and testament, and then he crossed out / underlined Kendall's name on it. I think he did that shit on purpose just to fuck with Kendall, so that Kendall would see it and not ever know whether or not his dad wanted him to have the company or definitely did not want him to have the company.
Right, and
the one way that he could absolutely fuck with his kids in the afterlife, because he hates his kids. He doesn't. I don't think he likes anybody. He likes himself. The one way that he could fuck his kids over is by blowing up the company now that he's gone.
That's where I go back to. Like, Logan had no friends. Everyone feared him.
Yeah.
No one loved him, and that's kind of where Kendall. Like, you've seen it morph in this last season, where he's become more and more brutal, and more in that scene where he's just telling Roman, after Roman just completely like broke down, like, you fucked it. You fucked it. That felt like a Logan thing to do, where it's like, you are a fuck up. You're not a serious person. I will have to save the day yet again.
I would like to see Kendall perhaps go on another meth binge too. That would be fun. There's a looming specter of violence in the background.
Yeah.
Which is the protest that you see. Like, somebody could get killed in the last episode. One of the siblings could get caught up and like found on the streets by one of the protesters and get their throat slit or whatever. That's definitely a possibility. There might be some violence that goes on. I also like the looming specter of the board.
Yes.
That they always have in every episode, where it's like, well, the board's going to go nuts, but I think I can push this through. The board, if you're a business person, you know that having a board is just such a great excuse to not do anything.
Yeah, the board
because you can say, like, listen, the board, I don't have the votes on the board to do this. I have to take this deal to the board.
Right.
As long as you can say, like, oh, that's like basically saying I have a get out of jail free card. It's a great excuse. Actually, you know what? We should get a board on this show for doing stuff that we don't want to do. We'll be like, yeah, we want to do it. Have to get approval from the board first.
The board, yeah. It should just be like Stella and memes.
Yeah.
They have to talk about it.
That's the board. They'll get back to you. So the board might pull a power play here, and then the board just gets control over it.
Yes, yeah. It's I'm very, very excited for this. It's going to be an awesome. I think they're going to do a great job of ending it, because I also like in reading some of the interviews of Jesse Armstrong, who created the show. Like, they could easily do another 3 seasons of this, but they're like, no, we're gonna leave everyone wanting more. Kind of like when Seinfeld was offered like $100 million to do a 10th season of Seinfeld. It's like, no, I don't want to fade. I want everyone to want more, and that's what I feel. I feel like we're gonna want more at the end of this, and it will be a great. It will be
Seinfeld
a terrible.
didn't end well.
Yeah, but it would be a terrible. Yeah, it's true.
All the Roy siblings end up in jail together in a cell, sharing their deepest fears with each other.
I also it is funny too, watching the show and the whole time being like, if I were in any of these kids' spot, I would just be like, yeah, let's fucking do this deal. I'll get $2 billion. I'll go buy a sports team.
Yeah,
but that's the great part about this show, is that they all are after something that. It's unattainable. They want that power. They want that meaningfulness.
They want approval from a guy who's already dead.
Right, and they have so much. They have more money than God, and it's not enough.
It would be.
Could you imagine being in a situation where, like, if this deal happens, you get $2 billion, and be like, no, we have to stop this deal just so I can keep power.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It has been. It's been one of the greatest series in a long time on TV. The highest compliment I can pay to it is, at the beginning, if you're watching it on demand and it says, do you want to skip intro? You never hit skip intro, because the theme song is such a fucking banger.
Yeah. That guy, I met that guy.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
I had dinner with him, and he's a cool guy.
He doesn't watch sports at all.
Yeah.
I just basically, I spent the entire time sitting next to him, and I was just like, so what do you do on Sundays? He's like, well, I go to like Central Park.
Yeah, enjoy life.
Yeah, write some music.
Look at nature.
I was like, what?
It's such a banger of a theme song. There needs to be a rap song that uses that as a sample.
Ooh. There is.
Is there?
L to the
Are you
OG?
joking?
Oh.
What song is it?
There's a Pusha T song.
Oh yeah, no, there should be another one.
Remember Kendall's rap?
I don't know what's going on right now.
L to the OG.
I'm very familiar with Pusha T.
Wait, you actually not know that, or are you like making?
No,
a joke?
we know it.
No, of course I know
We're
that.
making sure you guys knew it. Duh.
It was a test for Hank.
Okay, so
passed.
go download max.com. Sign up now at max.com, the one to watch, and check out the series finale of Succession. We also will be doing some movie reviews coming up. We'll let everyone know what movies so that you have time to watch it. So next week we're going to do a movie, right? So we got to pick a movie.
Yeah,
Should
we
we
can
pick-
pick from your list.
All right, so let's pick. So I sent a list to Hank. Let's pick off this right now so people can watch it, and you can watch it at max.com. These are all movies on max.com. Tell me which one you want, PFT. Here is. Let me find my list. Where's my list, Hank? Okay, Bloodsport, Marked for Death, Cobra, Rambo, Man on Fire, or The Heat. The Heat with Melissa McCarthy.
Bloodsport.
Thanks, PFT. Yeah, Bloodsport.
Okay.
Bloodsport's correct.
So next week we're going to review Bloodsport. So if you want to watch it, it's max.com. Go watch it. We'll also do some newer movies coming up. But next week will be Bloodsport on Friday. So watch it. It's one of my favorite movies.
I've never seen it.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Same.
Oh, it's a great
You're
fucking
gonna love
movie. It's a great movie. So Bloodsport next week. Get excited. Okay. Everyone who's back, we'll put who missed Succession recap. You can listen to that when you finally watch the whole show. Let's finish up with Fyre Fest. Fyre Fest, Hank. Fyre Fest of the week.
I packed all my clothes, and I've been wearing the same outfit for 2 days.
And nobody's noticed.
You didn't plan on leaving out 2 outfits or 3 outfits?
Did you hear the beginning of it?
But like before you packed the clothes.
So wait, Hank. When are you unpacking your clothes?
Friday.
Okay, so you've got another day. You're gonna be wearing those for 4 days in a row.
It will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning.
Same underwear.
Now, I have underwear. I have all my underwear and all my socks. That's the only thing in my suitcase.
Okay.
And then
That's valid.
I
didn't even have a sweatshirt yesterday. I was like, I am so fucking stupid. Thankfully, I had this in my car. But yeah.
I love watching Hank grow up. It's one of my favorite things
It's
to
the
do.
best. He's going to be 30 soon.
Yeah.
Wait, we got to have a bash.
I'll be here.
We'll
I'll
be doing
back
something.
in New York, yeah.
We'll be doing something.
Throw a dinger.
Okay. PFT, your Fyre Fest?
My Fyre Fest of the week is I'm going AWOL from the Navy, despite never having joined the Navy. So
You're too fat?
I was going to be going up in an F-18
Too short?
Too scared.
on Friday, and that's the day that I have to close on the house, and it turns out I have to be there in person. And so I had to go AWOL from the Navy. I feel bad because I wanted to go up in this F-18. I really did. I was so excited about it. It had been something I've been looking forward to for the last month, a real bucket list opportunity. I couldn't make it work. I tried everything that I could. I can't make it work. It just happens to be on the same day that I'm making the biggest purchase probably ever that I'll ever make in my life. And I can't not be there for that. I'll just say I have bone spurs. I can't go up in the airplane.
Flat feet.
My doctor said I have bone spurs. It would be unhealthy for me to go up in the F-18. Maybe I'll do it in a year if those get cured. But I do have a great deal. If anybody is in Pennsylvania or the Poconos area, as Hank said, the Poconos are not in the Bahamas, Hank. He mistook Poconos with Kokomo. It happens. That was during Delirious Hank. But if anybody is in Pennsylvania or
the
New
Poconos
York,
does not sound like Pennsylvania.
It's alliteration.
it's not alliteration.
Syllables.
It is syllables.
It is syllables.
Yes.
And some consonants.
But I do have discounted tickets. And for somebody that if you buy tickets using this link, send me the receipt, take a screenshot of it. I'm going to be giving away my Thrustmaster joystick that I've personally used to shoot down over 100 MiG-29s.
Is it a bonk or no?
My Thrustmaster?
It's on you for thinking
Yeah,
that.
Hank, it's a piece of
Your
military
Thrustmaster
equipment.
joystick?
Yeah.
That's on you.
Yeah, I'm giving away
That's on you.
my used Thrustmaster joystick. It's had my hand gripped around it for hours and hours and hours while looking at a computer screen, not sexual. But I am giving away my Thrustmaster to somebody who buys tickets. If you go to PoconoRaceway.com/PFT.
Are you a sex worker?
Buy tickets to the air show.
I'll throw, you know what? I'll throw in PFT's fleshlight too.
I don't have a
Do
fleshlight.
they fit?
I do not currently own a fleshlight.
Just a Thrustmaster
rent.
5000.
I've got the Thrustmaster. It's the throttle and the stick. But I will give one of those away if you go to PoconoRaceway.com/PFT. The air show is going to kick ass. So in the air show, they're going to have the Blue Angels demonstrating. This is Saturday and Sunday. They're also going to have an F-22 demonstration, which is something I would give my left nut to go watch because F-22s are amazing. They kick ass. So I would like to apologize formally to the United States Navy for backing out and going AWOL from you. Please don't court-martial me. I hope that we can.
I'll go sign for your house if you want me to. I'll hold on to that for a little bit.
That's forgery, Hank.
I'll just take it.
You're going to squat in my house.
And then it becomes your house.
God, if I have Hank living in my house, the resale value just goes through the basement. But yeah, please go check it out if you're in the area. It's going to be a great time. I would love to go there. Unfortunately, I can't. Apologies to the AWLs that I said. I promised. I told you I was going to be there. Apologies to the U.S. Navy, but I will
During Fleet Week.
Yeah, during Fleet Week, no less.
Yeah, no less.
But yeah, get that Thrustmaster joystick. It might even. It's got some of my DNA on it.
Like it. Yeah. By the way, you guys should get ready. The air and water show that they do, I'm sure it's similar in the Poconos, but there's one in Chicago that usually is like August, and just get ready because there'll be like a Tuesday where they're practice and you think that the whole city's under attack.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently
So, like, all
there's
of a
fireworks like 6 nights a week in Chicago.
Yeah, on Navy Pier. Yeah, but you will definitely be like, what the fuck was that? Because it'll just be buzzing. Yeah.
That was me yesterday. I thought like I saw jets overhead, and I was like, "What the fuck are we being attacked?"
No,
Like,
Billy.
oh, Aaron Rodgers is just back.
Billy told me yesterday that F-22s broke the sound barrier over his head when he was going running. I was like, Billy, you're full of shit. Number one, there's no chance those were F-22s. Number two, they're not allowed to break the sound barrier when they're flying over residential areas, you fucking infant.
Okay, my Fyre Fest. It's kind of like a future Fyre Fest. So PFT and Hank are closing on their houses tomorrow, and they're moving. And
We're actually moving in together.
Yeah,
It's the
moving
same
together.
house.
I just have tremendous FOMO that you guys are moving, and I still have like a month and a half in Chicago or in New York, and we just went through our whole schedule, and June's gonna suck. June's gonna suck for us. So AWLs, this is when you earn your takeys. We're gonna have some. Actually, our schedule. We're basically doing everything we can for our kids here. The AWLs. We're moving our schedules around to make sure that you have the best content. But
We'll still pick you up from soccer practice, sport.
yeah, but the next month is going to suck because we're kind of traveling. We're all over the place. We're taping stuff. We're going to make sure that for July 4th week, we have a baseball draft and Dungeons and Dragons, the takeys. So we're still going to do everything. We're going to have everything for you. We're not going to be missing any shows. It's just going to suck for a little bit.
I'm moving to Chicago this weekend, and then I will not be back till July.
That's PFT is the same way.
Same way.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend way more time outside of Chicago than inside of Chicago, but I'm looking forward to a lot of it. I'm gonna do all the things that Big Cat's not going to be able to do for another month. I'm going to go to Cubs games. I'm going to go to donut shops.
You can have my seats.
I'm gonna do everything. I'm looking forward to drinking as much Malort as possible. Love Malort. Jake, you're gonna love Malort, Jake.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love Malort.
I think I had a shot of it for a draft show or something. I did one. I don't know. We cheersed. I remember it was like the holidays. I'll have to find the video.
Yeah.
But I've had it before.
I'm gonna do Malort reviews. Every bar I go to that has Malort.
I like it.
Is it the same thing?
No, it's different from bar to bar.
Every
Got
place.
I'm looking. You know what I love about Chicago and the brief time that I've spent there is how dark the dive bars are.
Yeah.
It's great. They save a fuckload of money on that electricity bill.
There's some great dive bars. Billy.
So I got a truck, and I try to get as much use out of it as I can, helping people moving furniture, doing all sorts I can. But one thing that like justifies in my head having a truck is moving my cousin's boat every year. This morning, I got rear-ended, and my truck's fine, and fucked up the other guy's car way more, but it was his fault. And I just like walked out, and I just looked at my truck. I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. My tow hitch got fucked the day before I'm supposed to move my cousin's boat.
What? You can move. Can't you just put it in the water and move it that way?
No, like put it in the
Get
water.
it to the water.
Get it to the water.
Oh, get it to the water.
Yeah.
It's dry
Yeah,
docked
so
right
just
now.
like first time it's like in their backyard. I'm supposed to move it.
So you
Tow
got-
hitch got fucked up the day
Damn,
before.
dude.
Just like fuck.
It is.
You didn't take the guy's information,
Well, I was in a hurry, and I was just like it's fine. Just like
but it's not fine.
But the thing is, like the body's fine. I just didn't check like the specifics of the toe hitch and like how to the thing that hooks up to it.
Yeah.
So you beefed it up.
Yeah, it's beefed up. It's bad. Now I have to.
Are you gonna try though and like make it work?
I'm gonna literally get a hammer out and try to hammer it back. Just make it fit.
That's a common one. Sees a truck on the side of the highway.
If there's a will, there's a way.
A boat rolling down the highway.
I'm gonna try to make it work. I'm gonna fucking hammer that shit back into place. Get a blowtorch out. Try to make the metal like more movable and malleable.
If there's one tool you should use for car repairs, it's definitely a hammer.
I'm gonna be hitting that shit like a blacksmith.
If I go to a mechanic shop and I see a hammer on the wall, I'm leaving. It's like that's the one thing that they'll never use.
I think I can bend it back into place, but you know,
With your bare hands, it is an alpha move though. If you get into an accident and you step out of your car and your car is fine and the other guy's fucked up, you're like, nice car.
Yeah. Okay. You'll
But
figure it out.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of that toe.
Yeah, you're gonna
Once
get that.
I'm gonna be like fucking.
Yeah. Like what? How are you gonna be like?
Fuck it.
Hitting it like Tom.
Billy just
should
did a
be.
hold me back with his fucking truck.
Respectfully, I'd knock that out of the park.
Yeah. You should see me with a hammer. Jake, finish this off.
Also, Fyre Fest for you guys for not. I feel like I was justified. You guys not knowing that original Mark Jackson clip.
A lot of people
Yeah,
were mad that we showed the full context.
Yeah.
around it. I would like to just go with Hank's understanding of the situation that Mark
agree.
Jackson wanted to lay that pipe up on Savannah.
Also, I had the take I had about the Thursday night football game. Someone did point out to me that it means that you can't plan to go to an away Sunday game as well because you might get flexed to Thursday. Didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
that was a good point by them. Yeah.
But I think we've reached the point where we primarily think of football as a TV sport.
Right. Exactly.
Not an in-person sport. We lose
Correct.
track of the fact that people...
Well, in our defense, 99% of the audience is TV.
Yep.
Probably higher, 99.9. Jake, finish this off.
Yeah, this is a bittersweet Fyre Fest, but just being the last episode before Hank and PFT move, it's just you should tune into PMTV on YouTube. We go down memory lane. It's
Yeah.
out by the time you listen. It's just
But
crazy.
it's not really because we're going to do like a ton of content in here.
I know. It's just like the thought.
Yeah.
of
I
it.
don't like you trying to like jump ahead with the goodbyes.
Well, we're doing PMTV. It's a
Yeah,
plug.
true.
I
That's a
cleaned
good
up the
plug.
pile yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
plug.
it was a sad moment. I had a lot of old memories that I dug through there. A lot of fullback jerseys that I just uncovered in the pile yesterday.
It's more that we have so much shit we have to do in June
Yeah.
that it's like not. it
It's
hasn't
the
officially-
unofficial closing.
Yeah. All right, numbers real quick. Finish us off.
18.
I
17.
I saw a guy on the
16.
street today. He said 55, so I'm going to do that. He's like, Big Cat, guess 55. I was like, done, dude.
Has Memes ever gone this?
No, he's not.
I'm gonna do 99.
Okay. 17, you said, Hank?
Yep.
What was yours? Billy?
6'9".
Or Jake? 18? Yeah. Fuck, is it not on? Can you see it?
It's on.
It's on.
There it is. Wasn't plugged in. Oh my God.
JJ Watt, 99.
99.
Yes!
Oh, you got
I
it,
thought that
50?
was 69. Yes,
Let's
PFT.
go. Yeah.
Hell yes.
All right. Last show in the studio.
Yeah.
Getting
Wow.
99.
There we go.
He's officially the most wins.
Yeah.
Most wins. Wow.
Fuck
Five.
I'm the fucking king of this studio.
I thought it was 69.
This is my fucking house.
You
I
and
got
Brooks
disappointed.
Koepka, 5.
Yes.
This is my house.
Hell yes. Raise
Hey,
another
hey.
banner.
5.
5.
That eliminates probably our bet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Congrats.
thanks. What a way to close it
I
out.
don't know what it even was. But.
yeah.
This is
we'll
like,
figure it out.
yeah. Who went out with a home run in their last at bat?
Derek Jeter.
Jeter hit
kind
a
of.
walk-off single in his last home
Jeter.
game.
Yeah, Roberto Clemente got to 3,000 before.
Joe Carter,
Good
World
thing I'm not
Series.
going up in a plane tomorrow.
Yeah. Congrats, PFT.
Thank you.
So the Russians have been training beluga whales to be spies in NATO waters, and with all
This
these
shit is
recent
sad.
orca attacks, are the Russians radicalizing orcas? Just putting it out there.
There's been no orca attacks.
There has been. They've been attacking ships.
Something
off
to
of Spain.
think about.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
recently
Attacking boats.
Yeah.
they've been attacking ships off of Spain.
Yeah.
And
Hank,
by there had any deaths?
read the news,
Look,
Hank.
dude, I'm just saying, the orcas haven't been acting like that before.
Just something to think about.
Just
Put it in
something
your
to think
pipe.
about.
Everyone
If
have a
they're
good
training
long
belugas,
weekend. We'll
what
see
are
you
they
on
doing with the orcas?
Tuesday.
There should be a team named the Killer Whales or the Orcas. Sick uniforms.